All right, we're trying this one more time. Whoever this one person is that hopped in, thank you. uh, if you can let me know if you could hear me. If not, it's cool. All right, I'm trying this one more time. If it screws up this time around, then it's I would say it's YouTube. Okay, perfect. Hey, what's going on? All right, let's see now if they're gonna buffer me or what. Okay, so you can hear me, all that. Okay, perfect. Jer, what's going on, my friend? Sonia, what's going on? Okay, cool. Sam skating, you can hear me fine. All right. Thank you for that. Will, what's happening? From Ireland? Cool. Okay. My Sunday's pretty good actually. It's well, I've been trying to get a live stream going where I could share my screen and everything, but it doesn't seem to be working out the way that I expected. Hey, Sir Shrulu, what's happening? I'm not sure if it's YouTube or if I'm honestly not sure. That's the thing. Oh, nice. Hazard stoned in Seattle. Sweet. Sweet. See, and the unfortunate thing is too that it's yeah, let's expose the Illuminati. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's see. See, the unfortunate thing about this type of stream is that I can't share my screen or anything like that. That's the only unfortunate thing. I mean, and I can't even tell if it's gonna buffer or what. I mean, last time around it didn't buffer, but it I tried 3 times today and it buffered over and over and over again, which is unfortunate because it's probably why people won't be getting another notification that we're going live. But let's see if anybody else will jump on. Kind of kind of messed up the whole schedule today, but or like for tonight's stream, but whatever. I'll tell you guys right now if no one has any questions or if it's a bit of a slow evening, I'll probably just scrap the live and try to do it again tomorrow for fun just to see what would happen, what would come of it. Jerry, you only got the notification one time. Ah, okay. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know. That makes sense. Oh, hey man, no problem. Yeah, you guys only got the notification once. Yeah, see, it's interesting because then I don't know how else you would find out, right? Even for myself, when I look at other people's live streams, I'm not sure how else. But okay, now it's building a little bit. Maybe some people are getting the notification again. Hey, what's going on, Golden K? What's happening? All right, maybe we can actually get something going here. You two only once, right? The notification, yeah. Yeah, see, you see, guys, this is the problem here because yeah, Jer, right? You said yeah, you have the notifications for everything that I do, right? Exactly. This is the problem. If I start a stream and then I do another one and then and then I start another stream again, the algorithm in the system gets all messed up. On top of that, you know, the channel might be shadow banned. Um, it also, like you said, Sam Skane depends on the subject too. Stephanie, I want to thank you because you've jumped into every single stream. I think I've done 3 or 4 streams in the last hour. So I'd like to thank you for that. Yeah, Benjamin, thank you, my friend. Yeah, see, exactly. It messed up the whole system of it in terms of the notifications and all that. I really wanted to share my screen and do that kind of stuff, but let's see if we can get some more people jump in. All right, perfect. Okay. Hey, Michael, what's happening? What's happening? Let's see. Yeah, this kind of sucks because the whole thing is that once you start a stream, um oh, Sir Shulu, yeah. You said I remember when you used to grind in that other room when you had like 600 subs. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Golden K, you saw Instagram and you didn't get a notification. Okay, gotcha. Will, they don't want that people to hear you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. R Basks, have you listened to Mark Passio? Maybe. Maybe. I'm not 100% certain, but maybe. Have I listened to I watch so many things, read so many things, it's hard to say. Jason says, "Scrap it, try again next time." Yeah, I'm just doing this right now just because I kinda feel bad. I mean, for the people that expected to check out the stream. I mean, was supposed to it started like an hour and a half ago, and then all the buffering started and all that, and then I mean, unfortunately, the thing with live streams is you try to go live the first time and you try to keep that stream, you know? So, I mean, we have almost 30 people here, so that which will be interesting to see if there's any questions or anything like that. But yeah, the last 2 or 3 streams, excuse me, that I tried, it just started buffering like crazy. I don't know if it was YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure because I checked my Wi-Fi, restarted it, everything was fine. It seemed just like YouTube videos. Hazard Smurf, don't forget to give him the finger. I'm not sure who him is, but yeah, I tried over and over again. Oh, you mean thumbs up? I got you. Thanks. And then it's even on my end too. I had my phone. I started playing the live stream on my phone, and even for me, it would buffer. When it was going smoothly, it was going very smooth and it was going very nicely. But yeah, I'm just kind of doing this stream right now as sort of a let's see, as sort of a thank you slash sorry kind of thing. This is the first time where the stream kind of screwed up, so to speak. So I feel bad because it looks, it looks bad because I announced it the day before on social media everywhere, and then you know people have to try to follow the streams and stuff. And I don't. I appreciate everyone coming back because it's still. I wouldn't expect any of you to. I mean, maybe I just have to get an extremely powerful computer. So this maybe the CPU. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out though. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm just oh, Hazard Smurf, I appreciate that. Actually, now that I have, about 40 of you in here, it seems like. So if you remember, we did the Prince Andrew live stream last week where we basically just ripped on Prince Andrew and it was hilarious. What does anyone recommend any videos that we should analyze? I might do something tomorrow too. I'm not sure. If I can figure out the issue with the streaming, I'll try it again tomorrow. If it starts buffering again, then it could be my computer, but let's see. Mark Passio is a Satanist priest, is an ex-Satanist priest who talks about the elite structure and how the world is ran out of Vatican, Mecca, and Israel or Israel. Is that what that is? Oh, Lil Nas's new song. Yeah, let me see. Sonia asks, random question. Do you remember your dreams? Are they vivid? I remember my dreams, yeah. Most of the time. There are certain things where I have to take a day or two to think about it, but yes, I do. Normally. It took me, Sonia, I have to say, it took me about a year though to be able to remember my dreams, to say to myself, I want to remember consciously, and then starting to remember. Let's see. So sorry, Mark Patio is an ex-Satanist priest and how who talks about the elite structure and how the world is run out of the Vatican. I don't know if the Vatican runs everything. I certainly think that there are people in the Vatican that are in on it. For example, I think this is a really good example too. When we look, for example, at the CIA or we look at the NSA or what have you, there are a lot of cases, guys, believe it or not, where there are people who are at a lower level or lower ranking in the CIA than their superiors, but they know more than their superiors, even though the whole official ranking thing is supposed to apply. That's because that's the shadow government, right? That's because it comes down to trust. Who can you trust? Who can you not trust? Who can know? Who can not know? Kind of interesting. Let's see here. Anita says that family is reptilian. They eat children to survive. They should be avoided altogether. Which family are we referring to? But either way, probably, yeah, Anita, yeah. Um, Jer says, "Is there a reason why I stopped dreaming and the only time it happens is it's just nightmares?" Jer, there's a few different things. It could be psychological in the sense that you have subconsciously told yourself that. The other thing too is that if you smoke weed, it generally, I mean, there are people that smoke weed that still dream. I'll tell you right now, every so often I have a joint before I go to sleep and I still dream perfectly fine. Some other people say that their dreams stop entirely. So, and then their dreams come back after they stop smoking. Samskin asks, do your streams get blocked when you talk about these subjects? Usually no, but there's some keywords I've brought up in the past, in past live streams. Yes. Yeah. Where it's just shut off, or like YouTube has completely shut me down without any explanation whatsoever. I don't think YouTube's been messing with me with the buffering though. Oh, Anita, you're talking about the Royals. Oh, yeah, don't get me started on that. Oh, Juan, happy Sunday. Thank you. Let me see. Chantel, you dream fine. Okay, let me see. Golden K, if you sleep with your phone beside you or with that TV on or the game, it could affect it. I heard about that too. I heard if you fall asleep watching a movie or something like this with your mind sort of still awake, even if you smoke weed or something like this, it suppresses your ability to dream. I don't know the science behind it specifically. I know more about the energetic esoteric side, but um, Sir Shulu asks, "Have you talked about the blue avians before?" Once, and like a year ago when I first started the channel. I will redo a recap on that though. Hazard Smurf, but I smoke all the time. Yeah, no, my friend, you can still smoke and have dreams. Like that's what I mean. I smoke from time to time just before I go to sleep, and I still dream. Um, yeah, Golden K, you're right. It could stop you from dreaming. Let's see. Adden says, "Is it really true black people have alien DNA?" Probably, but not just black people. I would say there's even Eastern Europeans, Denmark, Norway, those countries. There's a lot of alien DNA there too. Not just black people, but I would again, well, black people. That's a little bit vague, Adden. Um, I would say it depends where in the world. These small African towns, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of what they call crypto terrestrials walking around there, aliens or hybrids or you name it. There's a lot of them. Um, Anita says, "Keep your phone out of the bedroom. It affects your energy. The EMF waves affect the etherized body." I agree with that. I agree with that very much so. I mean, just take a look at the difference of when you sleep inside compared to when you go camping or something and you sleep outside. That's just from one, room to the outdoors. Never mind if you have devices next to you or things like that. JR says, "I don't smoke weed like that, like once in a blue moon. It's weird though, because I just close my eyes and then bam, it's the next day." Oh yeah, trust me, I know what that's like. I mean, that's a good thing though, Jer. I mean, I would say that's a good thing, man, because there's a lot of people that have trouble sleeping. Rolls Royce says we all do. Sam Skaten says, "What if aliens are us in the future?" Oh, I think there are a few races that are us from the future. I think so, without a doubt. It's Golden K says, "Anita, that's 100% correct." Oh yes, yeah, for sure, especially with the 5G stuff. Interesting how before YouTube used to ban people that talked about 5G, and then all of a sudden it's kind of just like, no, it's okay now. If you notice, like, I mean, even Gaia's running ads about transcending 5G on YouTube. I've never seen that before. um Arb says, "I feel like they could attack your thought chakra." Arb, if they want to, they can do basically anything. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Direct energy weapons, they could do whatever. Yeah, for sure. Because when they, I mean, okay, let's put it this way. On Patreon, I did an episode I released yesterday talking about how basically, the former head scientist for MK Ultra said that he can turn someone into being telepathically controlled without them knowing it. And he said, he goes, if I could do it, he goes, then so can other countries. And this was just a scientist. I don't know if he had been given access to alien technology, but again, the whole concept of hypnotism potentially being pseudoscientific, I think, has remained pseudoscientific for a very particular reason, because there is truth to it. Just like, maybe this might not be the best example, but just like quantum computing is a very real thing. And then, but quantum healing, using holographic laser energy and things like that, nope. It's like, no, it's pseudoscientific, don't worry about it. Like, it just doesn't make sense, because when you look at William Reich, for example, and the orgone box, this is why I wish I could use the software where I could share my screen if the freaking thing didn't buffer. But that's why, if you take a look at him there, he had an orgone box where he could basically put someone in a box, I'm not kidding, and heal people using frequencies, which is, again, one form of healing that a lot of aliens use. And then all of a sudden, his stuff was patented, purchased, and then shut down completely. And good luck for him trying to get any kind of funding ever again. You know. Um, let's see here. Lucky Luciano just joined Patreon. How do I use it for upcoming episodes? Okay, so Luciano, the way it works without spending too much time on it. First off, thank you so much, brother. I hope you're doing well. By the way, I hope you're being safe and at work and everything. Um, the way it basically works is that you can look at all of the episodes released on Patreon in the past. Like, you can see the whole catalog. And then whenever I release something or make an announcement, you get a notification right away, so you never miss out on anything. That's basically how it works. And you can also message me directly. There's a lot of great perks on there too. Um, Hopefully that answers your question. Adin or Aiden says, have you ever had a dream of Stargates? I think once. And I'm not joking. It looked exactly like the show Stargate Atlantis, but I've never seen that show, which is interesting. I mean, okay, maybe a commercial, but let's see. Sam Skaten says, what do you think about the vaccines? I still don't trust them. I got to be careful about what I say about that, my friend, on here. Even on, I don't know if I could be more open on Twitch, but my answer to that is this: I will not be getting it. Let me see. Sonia asks, with which galactic species do you connect with? Do you connect yourself with being Starseed? Sonia, I've thought about that. That's a good question. I personally, I don't consider myself to be anything. Assuming you're asking me, unless you're asking everybody else in the chat. Um, I don't know if I'm a Starseed. I don't want to say that confidently. For someone who does a lot of research into the esoteric and stuff, I have to say I haven't really delved into my own personal spiritual journey, if you want to call it, so to speak. I mean, a little bit, but nothing crazy. Anita says the big pharma would never let that healing see the light of day. There's no business in being healthy. Yeah, well, exactly. There have been people who have come forward that have have had cures for cancer, and the next thing you know, they're literally found dead in their house or something like that. And every patent they attempted to file, every investor they tried to recruit to have invested into their product or their company, just disappeared, in terms of, like, as if nothing ever happened. Let's see here. Oh, Lucky Luciano, no problem, bro. No problem at all. Thank you, by the way. Uh, Juan Miranda says, were there giants in the past? Oh, I'd say so. I was looking at some footage that I'm going to be putting out on Patreon tonight that show, man, there were giants. Look, folks, let's put it this way. There's a New York Times article from, I believe, 1902 from either Missouri or Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken, talking about how archaeologists, found human bones. They were able to confirm human bones, but the bones were 3 to 4 times the size of the average human, which is very interesting, which is why I think there's been a ton of interbreeding, mixing. I also think breakaway civilizations are absolutely real. I used to doubt it a little bit, but the more I look into it, the more I subscribe to the belief in that. Let's see. Juan Miranda says, hope you don't get raided. I appreciate that. Thank you. The WMLG says, I've been wanting to ask this for a while. Elon Musk is planning to have a hotel in space. Say if people do go and see some shit out there that they can't explain, what would happen? You get me? Okay, well, the WMLG, I have a great answer for this, and thank you for asking that. There's a few things I've learned recently, and one of them is that there is something called, and I always knew this, but it's to the extent in which I learned it. So there's something called diminished reality, just like there's augmented reality, virtual reality, you name it, right? Now, it's sort of like, for example, saying holograms. Everybody knows what holograms are, but not a lot of people know the extent into which holograms can go to. So, diminished reality is a form of technology that uses, in a lot of ways, quantum computation to basically block things out in real time. It has been used in certain very high tech live streams with a lot of CPU power behind it and all that. But um, more importantly, it could in fact be transitioned to that of, in space. So if you have a commercial flight going on a very specific trajectory, let's say, to orbit the Earth or something like that, of course, all of these aliens, military people, all that manning these UFOs would know very, very strongly, so to speak, they would know to avoid that area. And even if you were on a commercial space flight, you looked out the window, the UFO could be right in front of you and you would not see a thing. That's number one. There also is another debate to the fact that we will never commercialize space in the way in which Elon Musk is saying. There's speculation that Elon Musk's SpaceX is funneling money. So is Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos' thing. Virgin Galactic, that Virgin Galactic plane or the space crash apparently was deliberate, and it's unfortunate because people died in that crash, if I'm not mistaken. But it just goes to show things are set up to fail on purpose, just to funnel money for the secret space program to justify. So sorry for the little rant there, WMLG, but hopefully that answers your question. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, Wind. Nice. Thanks for joining, my friend. Let's see here. Truth Hurt says, isn't it still in its experimental phase? If so, doesn't that make the volunteers lab rats? Just curious. Truth Hurts, I'm not sure what you're referring to with regards to experimental phase. Are you talking about diminished reality? Just curious. Cheryl Smith. Oh no, Cheryl, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. NLJ asks, do you accept donations on PayPal? I do. GenZpodcast@gmail.com. Actually, I'll pin my email for both PayPal, but more importantly, if people want to reach me, let's see here. AD Sith Lord, how are you? Wind, I appreciate that. Buckwheat Ryan Casper asks, what do you think is going to happen with Russia and Ukraine? I know it isn't a conspiracy, but just wondering what you thought about that. Well, Buckwheat, I appreciate you asking that. I like that. I mean, okay, this is maybe not the best way to say it, but I like witnessing the type of strategic operations that go on there. So hold on, before I answer your question, let me just pin my email. If anyone wants to just reach out to me, PayPal or contact, and I will answer your question about Ukraine, because I think it's very important. I think both sides are at fault, and I think truly the ones suffering are the Ukrainian people more than anything, obviously. But let's take a look here. So, what do you think is going to happen with Russia and Ukraine? Okay, Russia right now, they're still in Russian territory. They're ramping up their tanks. The thing with Putin is this: he doesn't care, and everybody knows that. He is much more blatant and open than the CIA is. Now, if you remember 3 or 4 years ago in Ukraine, there was a coup, from my understanding, and there were snipers on rooftops that John McCain then went to Ukraine and was seen with far-right nationalists and neo-Nazis, and he was doing rallies there. Joe Biden was seen in Ukraine saying there were snipers on rooftops. Who do you think placed the snipers? The snipers were there to create chaos in order to justify the coup moving forward. So when you have a large group of people in a physical area, obviously the more commotion, the more people are going to go nuts. What's the best way to do that? Boom, boom, boom. Start shooting at people. But here's the thing, folks. The snipers were shooting at both the police, the Ukrainian police, the Ukrainian military, and the Ukrainian people. So tell me, what are the chances the Ukrainian president would give an order to have his own people and his own soldiers murdered? Possible, but unlikely. I would dare to say it was the CIA. That's just, just elementary, speculation. In terms of what's going to happen down the road with Russia and Ukraine, Putin wants it. He wants it. he'll do whatever he can to get it. It doesn't mean he'll succeed, but it's kind of like when you have, and I'm not trying to defend Putin here, but if we're going to be totally down the middle, it's like if Russia tried to come and invade where I live here in Canada, for example. The US would not allow that to happen whatsoever. Why? Because again, it's right next, we share a border with America, right? Same thing. The US, the CIA, the European Union, NATO, they're trying to get into Ukraine to, get into the trading system, because Ukraine has an open trade system with Russia, at least from the last time I checked. And they're trying to get in there in order to, it's much easier to insert intelligence operatives when you do something like that. So it's the same idea. Putin just doesn't want outside sources coming in. With that being said, though, like I said, that doesn't justify him, being okay with you innocent Ukrainians dying just for him to take Ukraine back. Right? If we're playing it right down the middle, that's what I think. What do I think about in terms of what'll happen in the future? Oof, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't think there will be a war, though. At least not outside of Ukraine. If a war happens in Ukraine, it's possible. So let's see here. Sorry for the little ramble, by the way. Aiden says or asks, do you believe entities that exist in higher dimensions can attach themselves to yourself, and that might be the reason people would say they have a guardian angel? Yes. There are certain aliens, by the way, that are interdimensional beings that actually insert their souls, if you will, or their their interdimensional body, if you will, into a humanoid body here in the third dimension. Now, a former military high-ranking officer at the National Press Club back in 2001 had said that at the time there were 57 alien species, and for those who watched the last few episodes, you'll know about this on the show. 57 alien species that just look like us, that if you walked by them, you wouldn't notice. Maybe if you looked really closely, you might notice the hands, the neck, maybe the face, something like that, right? But nothing that would be, if you're walking in a mall or something, nothing that's like, oh crap, that's an alien, or what the hell is that? No. So the reason why I say that is because some of these interdimensional beings bring themselves into that of a humanoid form, and they use other people's bodies. And I know that seems like something out of a movie, but again, at the same time too, this military officer also said human scientists cannot understand this, but there seems to be a cosmic law within the third dimension that every single alien, when taken the form in the third dimension, must be in a humanoid form. So again, doesn't mean they all have to look like humans, but it makes sense. You look at alleged insectoid beings, you look at the Greys, they all have the two eyes, the two arms, the two legs. So clearly there's something there. And the military officer at the time, mind you, this is 20 years ago, said from his knowledge, the scientists at the time could not figure out why that was the case. Now, obviously progress is being made at a substantial level, whether the Galactic Federation is helping or not. That's another thing too, by the way. The Galactic Federation was kind of pissed off, from my understanding, and I've been told this by someone who claimed to have been in the secret space program. The Galactic Federation was pissed off that humans got a hold of not Stargate technology. Basically, it kind of caused some tension there, because keep in mind too, leave it to humans to, and honestly, I can sort of understand this, to make alliances with aliens but also go behind their back. But I mean, is that not always the case? So I can't really just shit on humans. Let's see. Drew Phillips says thoughts on, oh damn it, the chat jumped. Hold on guys, sorry. Thoughts on space being liquid. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It could be. I mean, I'm not sure, my friend. I'm not sure. You mean like literally liquid? I doubt it, in my humble opinion. But if there's evidence to suggest otherwise, then I will gladly look into it. Mr. Man says, what is the meaning of the black eye among the celebrities? Well, I have to be careful talking about that on here, but with the black eye, it's pretty simple. Allegedly, you can extract the human soul from the eye, from the adrenal gland. And I got to stop there because it starts with an A, and I know for a fact I'll get removed. That and COVID, I'll get removed. Samskin, I'm glad there's people that aren't all sheep. I agree with you, Samskin. Yeah. Anita, do you know who Corey Good and David Wilcock are? Yes. Okay. Corey Good and David Wilcock. This is not coming from me. This is coming from a very, very close source of mine. Again, someone who claims to have been in the secret space program. Everything that he said came out to be true. They were telling the truth. They were. they still are, but they're wrapping it in sensationalism to try and sell their own kind of thing. That's basically what they're doing. Um, Now, do I know that for a fact? No, but it does kind of make sense. Like, here's the thing, guys. Like, even like for example, Stephen Greer. I really like Stephen Greer. I think a lot of what he said is good. But I mean, the CE5 protocols and all that he has. And here's the thing, though. There comes a point where I would imagine money kind of takes over your kind of takes you over, especially if you're selling products or stuff, which again, I'm not trying to sound like a salesman, but that's why I have the Patreon because, and I seriously mean this. Basically, you guys, the audience, can tell me with your wallet if I'm doing a good job or not. You know what I mean? If you don't like what I do, you unsubscribe. If you like what I do, you stay subscribed. That's how I like to do it. Get be funded by the community, right back, and give right back to the community. So I think people like, Corey Good, Stephen Greer, David Wilcock, no disrespect to them, but when they charge, two, three, $4,000 for one ticket to go see them, I'm not saying they all do that, but and then, and then they end up making 200 grand in a day just off of one seminar for something I'm doing right now. I'm not trying to say I'm better than them. I'm just saying, like, so, anyways, I feel like if the knowledge really is to be spread, I feel like yes, money's important. You have to pay your bills, but don't rape people. Financially. Don't do that. That's my view. Um, Get funded just enough to pay your bills and have a little bit put aside for to increase the like for the show for myself to increase quality. Don't charge 3, 4, 5 grand a ticket, even 300, 400 bucks a ticket. It's one thing to pay your bills. It's another thing to start getting greedy. Um, Let me see here. Platinum Sword says about seeing UAEs. Look into night vision. Have a few friends stationed overseas that have seen a ton of them. Platinum, I'd love to have, if you want to email me, I'd love to have a conversation with you. And I appreciate that because there are a lot of people in the military that have been coming out saying, listen, from the Air Force, the Navy, we don't care what our superiors say. We have this footage, or if they don't have footage, they'll say, we know what we saw and we don't care. We're coming out. It's the year 2021, screw it. You know what I mean? Let's take a look here. The WMLG asks if the royal family and elites have access to top-notch healthcare, how come Prince Philip is dead, or is that just some sort of stunt? Honestly, this might sound crazy, WMLG. I think he transferred his soul from one body to another. Not even kidding. That's assuming he has access to that, though. Some apparently they don't. But whatever. Let's see. Buckwheat Ryan says, I saw a video on Instagram news account called Atlas.news, and it was a video of Russian artillery strikes going off, and they've killed 5 Ukrainian servicemen. Okay. One more thing I forgot to mention to also add to WMLG and Buckwheat Ryan Casper's question about Ukraine. What they could do is they could have, like, for example, Russia could have their spies on the Ukrainian side because they have tons of spies in Eastern Europe. They'll have their spies, insert themselves in the Ukrainian military over a long period of time for situations like this. So, they'll quietly give the order for their spy to fire first, and then Russia can then, fire back and say, look, they fired first. You know what I mean? That's the way it would work. So Buckwheat Ryan, I would not, it would not surprise me. Absolutely. Let's see. Wind says 100% a PMC that was hired to fire on everyone around Ukraine. Golden K, Putin wants all that smoke. Yeah. Remember to like the stream. I appreciate that. I know it helps the algorithm. That's the only reason why I read that. If not, I don't. Honestly, guys, I care more about the community. I don't care about the liking and that kind of stuff. Let's see. Maury Ramos, greetings from Chile. Oh, greetings, my friend. Greetings from, I'm in Toronto, Canada. Research Friendship Island. All right, cool. Let's take a look. Rolls Royce says, think about Vegas. Lots of bang bang. Something to think about. Vegas bang bang. You talking about the shootings, or you talking about like the military experiments at Los Alamos? By the way, Los Alamos, it's still fully functional. 100p based. What's going on, Scott? Oh no, Scott. You didn't miss the stream. No, not at all. 100p based critical thinkers gang. Nice. I like that. Order 66. You snuck back on without me seeing you. You. I did. What theory is he on? Oh, someone in the chat, 133 degree. Hold on. So could go okay, so Sam Skaten asks, so could ghosts just be aliens? Some of them, not all of them. Some okay. I think a lot of people don't realize, and I'm not saying you guys, I'm just saying in general. You know how after a human being dies, sometimes you see, the spirit or the soul of your family member or friend who passed away. I I honestly believe, and I'd be more than happy to have my mind changed, but I honestly believe that we have the same ability. We just, again, our pineal gland has been suppressed. Our third eye has been suppressed, so we cannot leave our soul as we please. Now, okay, fine, we can argue astral projection, but I'm saying that these aliens have a much more advanced way of doing it. Whether they use some type of nanotech or some type of, synthetic technology to help them out, it's possible. Or maybe some of them are so enlightened, if you will, uh, that they can do just leave their physical body anytime. Let's see. Oh, damn it, the chat jumped. Hold on. I'm gonna get to all of you. Don't worry. Let's see. MG, is MTM clothing your clothing line or someone else's? Of someone very, very close to me. When I started the show a year ago, I promised I'd help them out, and I still do. So it's not mine though. But if you want to buy anything or whatever, it means a lot. It goes to someone very close to me. Um, Cheryl Smith, could you dig into reptilians? Do you think they're running the government? Cheryl, yes. And I say this so confidently more than before because reptilians is a very vague way to put it. The label reptilians sounds so I mean, it sounds ridiculous to the average person, but I do believe they're running certain aspects of the government. I believe that the certain aspects of the military industrial complex are being are, as well as the military entertainment complex, are taking orders from them. I would say that the 1954 Greada Treaty was signed with some of the reptilians, and the military entertainment complex, so basically the CIA's infiltration into Hollywood, is where the reptilian thing really stands strongest. And the reason why I say that is because the reptilians, from my understanding, things are always changing every day, right? We cannot say at the current situation what the current standing is between different factions, but I would dare to say the reptilians are not exactly, winning the battle for control over Earth. So what they've decided to do is not exactly take a loss per se, but they've decided to infiltrate more molecular aspects of humanity. That's what I would say. So, for example, Hollywood, right? That would be a perfect example. Um, Let me see. Dreamlink 51. Supposedly, Biden gave Ukraine nukes and Putin an ultimatum till Wednesday for NATO to back off. UK warships coming in May. Belarus after coup attempt, siding with Russia, siding with India/Brazil. I didn't know about that. I didn't know that they gave him a warning, assuming that's the case. Here's the thing, folks. This is why we don't know what really goes on behind the scenes, right? There's certain things that we do know because things are just so, dramatic and so out there you can't hide it. But let's see. Anita, these aliens can manipulate many dimensions, even etheric waves. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bruce Leroy, interdimensional beings that hijack human consciousness to insert their will. I've witnessed one that people call the Grim Reaper. Yes, there's pictures of that one too, I think. Josh Jacobs, please describe the black cube of Saturn. So the black cube of Saturn is, I don't want to say, okay, the black cube of Saturn is allegedly from the insectoid race. The insectoid race has been basically banned from coming into Earth, but they do camouflage themselves in order to enter Earth's orbit. And you might be saying, Dave, are humans the ones protecting Earth or what have you? It's the Galactic Federation, the Ashtar Command, and humans are basically under the guise of Venusians, so to speak, in terms of, being given orders and following things. Insectoids are the ones that look like praying mantises. The They're humanoid, but they're praying mantises. Yeah. And the black cube of Saturn is basically the appraisal or the worship of that generally. It's sort of their own version of trying to instill that type of belief system. It's the best way I could summarize it very quickly. There's a lot of stuff I'm leaving out, but that's the general gist of it. Sam Skaten says, like an ocean, sometimes in the footage from space, you can see bubbles. I've heard this story. Okay, interesting. I'll look into that. Um, Bruce Leroy, agents under the payroll, yes. The Observer, about space being liquid, more like a superfluid with zero viscosity, maybe. Ah, I see. Okay. Um, Impressive. Hey, what's going on, Impressive? Um, Bruce Leroy, Stephen Greer, David Wilcock, David Icke, Graham Hancock, Ancient Aliens, all agents. Oh, I mean, to a degree, yeah. Let me see. Oh, guys, I'm just reading now. Sorry, I'm just the comments are delayed. That's why. I appreciate that. Hold on, Bruce Leroy. They're dimensional beings, not from outer space. Dimensional space, yes. Spiritual beings that the ancients have spoken about. Ah, yeah. Well, there's been so many interpretations, right? Um, let's see. Oh, someone asked about the black eye. Did I not? Did I not answer that, or did I? Anyways, Jack Dark. Oh, Golden K, thank you. Jack Dark says the black eye is said to be a sign of the Vril Society. They're like the Gulad in classic Stargate, using humans as hosts. Look into it. Yes, apparently they're a underground civilization that, again, interdimensional underground. Hard to say, but 100p. Oh, Impressive says probably do, though. They run the UN. Oh, yes, that's another thing with the UN and the WHO, the way that certain. Okay, so when people say, like, the WHO, when people say, how could Trump be right when, he says that the US gives 300 million a year, or 30 million, whatever it is, and China gives way less, and China still has more influence. It's because of intelligence. And this is what bothers me the most, the way people eat up the mainstream news, because the reporters are asking only, I say, 30% of what they should be asking. The other 70% should be, what are the intelligence apparatuses at play here? And that's why. So with the WHO, United Nations, if you watch House of Cards, I would say it's that times 30 in terms of how they poach people. They have their meeting. The WHO has their assembly. Then afterwards, when they all disperse, they go back to their hotels and stuff like that. They all have their own kind of negotiation. So, China's quietly making a deal with Israel, for example, and Israel, just quietly wired a Chinese diplomat, $1 million through a dummy company or a front company in the Cayman Islands. It's that kind of stuff. That's how it really happens. When aliens come into plays at a much higher level, and those people are not privy to that. Most of them aren't. I would say, honestly, guys, in my humble opinion, based on my research, I would say you can probably count on your hand how many members of the United Nations, in terms of individual human beings, know about aliens at that UN General Assembly. I would say. Um, let's see. 100p based says Joe Biden is a deep fake. Did you guys see that deep fake? That was interesting. That really was. It kind of just showed up, and then it went away. I mean, everyone on social media was talking about it, but Impressive says Vril parasites wrap around your nerves. Yeah, we can argue that's also called the Naga as well. Oh, hey man, hey man is back in the chat. We talked about a few things: Ukraine, Vril Society, insectoids. We talked about a few things. Bruce Leroy asks, would you say there are dimensional beings more than visitors or aliens? It's been spoken about for thousands of years in every religious text and modern day science. Sorry, when you mean dimensional beings more than visitors or aliens? Sorry, Bruce, if you could clarify, my friend, what you mean by that when you say more than visitors or aliens. Some of them are I mean, again, we have to define the word alien, but some of them are in fact just I would call them passerbys. They just kind of come here while they're traveling. Some of them insert themselves interdimensionally into a human's body. Usually, they tend to do this in more remote towns of the world. If you do it in metropolitan cities and things like that, within Australia, Canada, America, every major country, it becomes far more noticeable, and that's the last thing that both sides want. So what they'll do is they'll do it in small towns in Italy, for example. They'll do it in small towns in South Africa, things like that. Small towns in Denmark, Norway, Sweden, places like that. Greenland, where you have towns of anywhere from 2,000 to no more than 40,000 people. That's where they'll insert themselves in. Much more easier to blend in. And you might think, Dave, if there's less people in a town, isn't it easier to notice somebody? sort of, I get that argument, but what you have to remember is you got to look at the big picture. No one's going to look in those towns. No one even knows those towns really exist. I mean, you know what I mean? Let's see here. MG, I'm 99% sure Philip transferred into a different avatar. If he has access to it, yeah, I'd say so. The Observer, 7.8 billion beings on this planet. Not all of them are human. I fully agree with you. Fully agree with you. Raveen's Dami, namaste from Nepal. Oh, nice. Hey, what's happening? Let me see. OPPXX, Los Alamos is in New Mexico. Yes, yes. Sorry, my bad. It's in New Mexico, right? Or is it in Vegas? My God, I can't. You see, this is my memory. It's, you know what's funny? The way my brain works is interesting. I can only remember what I researched in the last 24 hours. Anything before that is kind of hard. Sam Skaten asks, is Satanism a trend? I don't know if I'd call it a trend. There's certainly a following. Josh Jacobs says, nobody knows if 7.8 billion is a realistic number or not, though. That's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing. MG asks, is MTM your clothing line? No, it's not. It's someone very close to me. Honestly, I'm going to be totally truthful with all of you very quickly. When I started the show a year ago, I honestly didn't expect that it would grow to what it's at now. And seriously, I appreciate that from everybody. As I always try to do my best to say. But so what I said to someone very close to me, they started a clothing line. I said, of course, I'll put you as a, like a sponsor, but I don't get paid or anything like that. But it's someone very close to me. So, Order 66 asks, Dave, are you into eating clean, healthy food and a workout regimen? Just curious because we need you around for as long as we I used to bodybuild. I used to for about 5 years. I was getting close to competing, and then I realized you had to become a walking pharmacy to stand a chance. In terms of the growth hormone, the steroids, the insulin, that kind of stuff. I was extremely active for a long time, super strict diet for like 6 or 7 years, and then just the last year or two, I just really took it easy. It's not hard for me to get into physical shape. I can make myself super skinny. I can make myself whatever. It doesn't really. Anyways, that's enough about my bodybuilding career. Hold on. The chat just jumped. Hold on. I'm gonna get to all of you. Don't worry. Let's see here. Here we go. But am I into eating healthy food? Yes, absolutely. I still do something called intermittent fasting. I sleep better. I tend to function better mentally. Let's see here. But I don't follow those mainstream diets. I tried intermittent fasting, and then that was it. It worked for me. The first week, I'm not gonna lie, it's like you're starving, and it feels like you're just constantly your gag reflex. It's terrible, but it ends up working out much better. You can function off of less food, and it's actually great. Let me see. Michael Farrell says, "Did you see that sorry ass fake setup Jake Paul fight? I know it's lame, but it was the worst boxing fight I've ever seen." I haven't seen it. No, I haven't. The second I hear Jake Paul, Logan Paul, whatever, I just, no disrespect to people who follow them. I just stay away. Let me see. Scott Matsnick. Oh, thank you, Scott. Let's see. Have you watched WMLG? Have you watched Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia? It's insane how they allow that sensitive content there. From dumbs to the 20 and back program, Chinese cloning, genetic engineering, and way more. Thoughts? It's allowed on there because it's been given permission to be put on there. And again, no one can, in pure theory, prove it. You can provide evidence, but you cannot prove it, right? Sort of like what we're doing here. But I know what you're saying. To be able to run those kind of ads on YouTube and just pump it out constantly, I know exactly what you're saying. To be able to pump out that kind of content and not get in shit, I know. Again, it's because there's a way that disclosure has to happen. Let's put it that way. The next thing, let's see here. Sam Skaten, I've kind of left my body, excuse me, when I've had sleep paralysis. No cap. Yeah, that we could argue that's astral projection. Yeah. Let's see. Jer A says, my friends all around town have always told me they've seen my doppelganger, or how that's even spelt. Even my mom has seen him, but I never have. That's something to look into. That I would say so for sure. Scam Skaten, I turned around and saw myself sleeping. Yeah, that'll happen. People who even go into surgery, they see that too. That's not uncommon. NLJ. Oh, NLJ, thank you so much. I'll let my friend know. Thank you so much. I'm sure they'll be truly appreciative. Thank you. Impressive says parasitic entities. Um, I'm not sure. Maybe I was talking about insectoids at that point. Let's see here. Grid says, yes, it's been said you can astral project from sleep paralysis. Yeah, that's what I'm saying when I say our pineal gland's been suppressed. We don't know how to use it. It's like riding a motorcycle and you don't know where the brakes are, or you don't know, you know what I mean? You don't know how to accelerate. It's just going and that's it. Nothing to declare. Oh, Emo, what's happening, my friend? Any updates with the alien disclosure? The footage, it's coming. I mean, I don't know if there will be one big disclosure. I mean, yeah, I don't know, but I mean, those pyramid-shaped UFOs above the Navy ship, like I said, there are people that are just coming out and soldiers coming out, excuse me, saying, listen, we don't care at this point. Let's see. 100p based asks, can you give your best breakdown on Egypt? In what sense? The current political situation or ancient Egyptians? Anita says, what do you think a fake alien invasion would look like if it were to happen? Not as scary as you might think. I don't think it would take much to scare people. But I think if it would not be some big, massive ship coming for Earth like Independence Day. I could be wrong, of course, but I think it'll be country to country. If it were to happen, it would be coordinated. It would be orchestrated, meticulously planned by every major country, and then every other country that follows it. That's a subsidiary, excuse me, to it. I would definitely say that's the way it would probably go. I don't see it like what they say, like Allah or Jesus, or a massive person coming and grabbing of it. I don't see that happening. Because again, if you're gonna, this is another thing too in terms of the psychological aspect. If you're gonna strike fear into people, you want to strike fear that would open up more doors to more fear. You don't want to just strike fear for the sake of just pure fear to the point where a lot of people might even kill themselves. You know what I mean? Let me see here. Oh, Michael Farrell tried to order a hoodie, but COVID wouldn't let the shipping happen. Oh, sorry to hear, my friend. I'll let my friend know. Sam Skaten says, can the chat chill so he can get the subjects easier? No, I enjoy it's okay, guys. I enjoy it. I appreciate what you're saying, though, Sam Skaten. Jack Dark says, I heard the royal family has the technology and reptilian regeneration abilities to clone their avatars and just use the new avatar after the older one breaks down. Philip probably just did this. Oh, they can definitely do it. I mean, the technology's there. The question is, does the royal family have access to that? That's what it comes down to. Because we can even argue the royal family is in a lot of ways, they're powerful. Don't kid yourself. But I don't know if they're the top of the top. And if you're not at the top, then you don't decide who gets that kind of tech. 100p based asks, what crypto would aliens use if they were here? Well, crypto just means hidden. If you're talking about cryptocurrency, I don't know. Josh Jacobs, oh, I appreciate that, thank you. Impressive. I had dreams my mate later in life would. Oh, okay, yeah. 100p base says, so you're basically saying we're servants to a large degree. Impressive. Let me know if anyone has been having weirder dreams. Sorry for spam. No spam at all, my friend. Nothing to declare says, asks, will you have a special episode more about Agartha? By the way, I named my son Agartha. Oh, that's cool. If there's more information, yes. I don't respectfully, I don't believe in making episodes just to make an episode to get views or listens or whatever. A full-on breakdown. Yeah, I'm working on a few things, long form, 1 hour type episodes, broken down into 2 or 3, virtual chapters. I'm working on a few different things. It's a lot to do. Let's see here. Oh, Justin, what's going on? Golden K says, wouldn't say weird, but I had a dream about 2 blue socks. Had to Google it. Interesting. 100p based asks, so are we screwed in your opinion? Give it to me up front. No, not exactly. When you say screwed, though, if you're talking about will people die, absolutely. In terms of humanity overall, no. I think we've made too many deals with too many different alien species, good and bad, to completely die out. Um, let's see. SCP is the Royals reptilians, and do you think Prince Philip's really dead? This is okay. So we have just over 100 people watching now. Just because people keep asking this over and over. Um, I'll just say this one final time. If they have access to that technology to transfer souls from body to body, Philip's not dead. The question becomes, do they have access to it? I think they have connections to reptilians, the royal family. The question then becomes, to what extent are they able to access this reptilian connection that they have? Um, future money hack, so I appreciate that. What's your Arb asks, what's your synthesis on the many ghost cities in China? Oh, this is a good one. Okay. So a lot of people don't know this. Allegedly, in China, before the whole COVID breakout started, um, 21 million people were literally burned. This is a big claim to make. I know that. But apparently, China was doing a ton of experimentation. As we all know, organ trafficking, the Muslim Uyghurs, which again, I couldn't talk about until the New York Times freaking reported on it. But anyways, ironic, right? But anyways, China's made an agreement with Russia, with Israel, with the UK, with the US, to each country does their thing in terms of the world stage. Now, when I say world stage, do I mean that people's deaths are faked? No, people do absolutely die, but it's all about the bigger picture overall. And the idea is that China is covering up for the slaughtering of the Muslim Uyghurs, right? But here's the thing that's interesting. A lot of these organs go missing, and there's been a lot of bodies that have been buried that show more paranormal activity based on satellite imagery and things like that, which you can find on the gray area of the internet, I'll call it. And what's interesting is that it seems like, again, from Project LACE, low level augmented crossbreeding experimentation, the US says, well, look, we trade with China. They're a massive powerhouse. Of course, we're not going to invade militarily. So what are we going to do? We're going to slap some sanctions and that's it. The organ trade, the harvesting there for the Muslim Uyghurs is not just about that. A lot of it goes to deep underground military bases, a lot, which is why when we see these ghosts in or these ghost cities, if you will, we're talking extremely advanced holographic technology. And again, holograms may not even be the best way to phrase it, but we've been so pre-programmed with holograms and understand thinking it's just lasers projected and that it cannot manifest physically, right? I think that's my take on the ghost cities. A lot of military experiments. China has the ability to censor people. They do that all the time. All the time. You can't pull that kind of stuff in the West, which is why I think all major countries are in on that. Let's see here. Mike Martins asks, do you know something so-called Planet X? Yes, apparently it is legit, and I personally do think it is. NASA has proof of it. You can find it if you really look online. The footage, NASA archive footage. As a matter of fact, folks, I'm not trying to say this to get people to go on Patreon, but I do have footage from a NASA archive that was given to me on someone in the gray area of the internet that allegedly shows the Galactic Federation ships from a NASA archive footage, and you got to see it. It looks real, and it's interesting. There's a lot of ships. There's also footage of giants, human giants on Earth, though not in space. With regards to Planet X, I think there is a planet, just like the way in which there are different, I guess we could say, ships or UFOs that can go from dimension to dimension. I think a UFO is a microcosm of what a planet's magnetosphere would hold. Not every planet, but I think it is a representation of that. It seems to abide by the laws of physics within this dimension. Now, the laws of physics, excuse me, could change in other dimensions, though. Let's see here. 100p based. Yeah, I'm way back in the chat. Yeah. The Observer says possibly every figure in the world politics is a tendril of the vril. It's possible. Scott Fitzwater asks, when was the deep fake? Are you, Scott, referring to the Joe Biden deep fake? Because if that's the case, I can send it to you on Telegram. Let's see here. Also, Scott, thanks for tuning in, brother. Let's see. Anita says the World Trade Center sacrifice memorial for the Saturn black cube. I don't know if that's a question, but that sounds interesting. I'd like to look into that. Um, the Observer, an appendage and extension. Not sure what you mean there, my friend. Let's see here. Justin says, "Hey Dave, are you familiar with the Farsight Institute and the things they have remote viewed?" I absolutely am, and I do think it's completely legitimate the things they've achieved. When you Sometimes the best evidence, and this might sound contradictory, but sometimes the best evidence is the evidence that is not there. And this might not be the best example, but from a visual perspective, have you guys seen the Unabomber on Netflix? In terms of how accurate that story was with Ted Kaczynski, that's a different story. But you notice on the whiteboard how when they're looking for the Unabomber, they're writing down on the whiteboard to give themselves a visual. They're writing down when they get close to finding him all the things they know about him, and they put it in some type of categorical way that defines the way that humans precognitively perceive life in general, whether it's entertainment, whether it's drugs, sex, things like this. And then they take a step back and then they look for the things that are not there. And they on the whiteboard, literally, they use that as a visual and they say, okay, what's not there? What is missing from this person's life? Usually, whatever is missing is how you're gonna find them. So, did I just ah yeah, and I apply this to remote viewing the same way. When you asked Justin about the Farsight Institute, I apply this to remote viewing because it's the same idea. And I say this because the Farsight Institute I take to be legitimate because there has yet to have been an official institute to delegitimize it. And normally the public excuse is, well, a Harvard or Yale, they'll say something like, we don't even want to give a report on the Farsight Institute because if we do, then we're validating it, and then it opens up the doors to all these conspiracy theories. That's just a load of nonsense. That's just, part of my French, that's a load of bullshit. That is just to cover up for the fact that they've been instructed through the disc theory, right, through the higher level committees that instruct them, they're told just stay away from it. So do I think the Farsight Institute and the things they have remote viewed is legit? Yes. Do I think mistakes have been made there? Of course, nothing's perfect, but yes. Let's see. Oh, the chat jumped. Hold on, hold on. I don't think I'm that far behind. Hold on. I will get to everyone, I promise. Order 66 asks, you have a Patreon, but you ever gonna make an OnlyFans? Yeah. That'd be funny. Okay, let's see here. Oof, maybe I am a little bit far back. Hold on. Oh, Dojo Reporter asks, do you fear running out of ideas for future videos, if you know what I mean? No, I don't. There's way too much to cover, my friend. I don't. There may be what's called, dry spells where my research doesn't come up with much, but that's life in general. Things go up and down. Here we are. Super Artist asks, do you think maybe you were an SSP experience, secret space program? If so, I doubt it. The one thing I will tell you is this, and I say this because I'm comfortable enough to say it at this point, and I think most of you, because I know most of you personally, will in fact not necessarily believe me, but or just take into consideration more seriously what I say. There are certain episodes when I'm recording, and for those who don't know, I don't cut myself, I don't crop myself, I do one take, and that first take is it. I believe in the natural rhythm of things when it comes to recording. I believe it should be treated like a real conversation, at least in my humble view. I would try to present it as if I'm sitting in front of your own living room. There are some things that I'll say to myself after I'm done recording. How did I know that? I'm not saying I was part of Secret Space Program. I highly doubt it. But I haven't experienced any of the signs. But there are certain things that I'll say, and then I'll look it up after, and it turns out it was correct. So I don't know if there's some form of communication or something like this, but I don't look into it that much. Let's see here. Oh, Los Alamos is in New Mexico. Josh Jacob says, found Dave from TFH. Sorry, was super impressed. Thank you, Josh. TFH. I don't know what that is, but thank you. Let's see. Heyman says Los Alamos is in New Mexico. Gotcha. Let's see. Uriel says, did you hear about the NASA engineer who claimed a demon attacked him? I believe it. Yes, and I have. Yeah. SCP says, why do they praise Satan and what's the reason behind it? Oof, SCP, you might want to email me. My email's pinned in the chat. That's a long one. That's very complex. We're talking lengths of history, culture, aliens, you name it. Let's see here. Bruce Leroy says, do you know about Morgellons? Do you think that is an attempt to insert AI into humanity? I do, and I think alien AI is already here, for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Josh Jacob asks, how long do you go intermittent fasting? I've been doing it too. I love it. I go anywhere from 16 to 18 hours without eating, and then 7 or 8 hours of eating. Let's see here. Seer Shrulu says, there's so much only way I would run out. Oh, in terms of running out and making content is if they started covering up everything really well. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Oh, Los Alamos is in New Mexico. Okay, sorry, guys. Impressive says, how much of our governmental systems do you think are being controlled by said Naga parasites? A fair amount. A fair amount. I put it at about 40%, give or take, and I'm being conservative. Josh Jacobs says, do you see Jake Paul say COVID is a hoax and 98% of the media is? Yeah, but again, Josh, I always the 98% of the media is fake news. Yes, I don't know if I answered this question to you earlier or somebody else. When I see those guys, the brothers, I kind of just ignore it though. Oh, Mr. V, thank you, I appreciate that. The Kraken episodes, thank you. Let's see. John Goodwin asks, what can you say about the Astroxenical and Zoroastrianism? Oh, John, if you could please email me, my friend. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. Let me see. Is my thing? Let me see there. Hold on. There's a lot. I got a lot of notes here. Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. And Zoroaster. Hold on, John. When you said, what can you say about the AstraZeneca? Wait, Astroxenical and Zoroastrianism? I don't know what are you trying to, sorry, man. I apologize. Okay, I might have to move on. I'm trying to, yeah, please email me. We can jump into that there. Impressive says biometric tests say 5% of humans have reptilian eyes, but also why they would go into biometrics. So there's probably more. Yes. Oh, Alicia, thank you. No, it's Alicia. You're awesome. Koyos Ronin. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. Thank you so much. Bruce Leroy, we are interdimensional as well. Yeah, for sure. DreamLinks51 asks, do you find it odd? Don't you find it odd? Trump is promoting the injections. Try to decode the Operation Warp Speed logo and think long term. I could spill the beans, but we both could get banned. In short, we're screwed. I got to be careful, DreamLink51, about that on here. If you want to email me, please, by all means. Paul Czar says it's allowed on here more than likely because it's mostly misinfo, in my opinion. It depends what you're referring to, but Bruce Leroy says scary stuff if you're not aware of the human consciousness. Oh, absolutely. Sam Skaten asks, is there fluoride in water? Yeah. I mean, it's not exactly a black or white answer, but it depends where in the world. But let's see here. Oh, Juan Miranda. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Koyos Ronin, bro, you got to make shirts that say, you know what I mean. I always giggle when you say it. It's like your slogan. I'll make something eventually. I'll do something eventually. Let's see. You Real asks, do you think the government could tap your water? No pun intended. Yes. Everything that you see in the movies, they have, it just comes down to what level they have it at. Stuff like programmable matter, that kind of the super advanced stuff. I would dare to say, folks, it would take an act of God to get that type of technology out to regular people. They're not going to waste their time trying to use programmable matter to spy on us. They can do it in many other ways. I think they don't want to take that risk of revealing alien alien technology just to spy on us. that might have come out the wrong way. They will always spy on us. They will always try to find new ways. But I think stuff like the programmable matter, if they let that kind of stuff out, I don't know. On the average person, I think they got more important things to worry about in terms of like the people at that level. You're talking about you're talking about cosmic politics with other alien races. I don't think they're concerned about trying to tap our water and stuff. But I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're saying. John Goodwin, the vector equilibrium, the shape changes with increased. John, not sure what you're referring to, my friend. Dreamlinks says Philip's death was peculiar numerology too. Yeah, it was interesting. Numerology seems to have some type of alignment with this dimension in certain ways. I'm not saying that that was Philip's thing, but I mean, didn't he die? He died at the age of 99 on the 99th day of the year on his. I don't know. There was something else too, but yeah, it was something like that. Let's see. Bruce Leroy says, I thought you were all conspiracies. After picking your brain, I see you keep an open third eye. Tapping into spirituality is key. We should all practice more. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me see. Uriel says, is that La Croix? Not sure what you're referring to, Uriel. Jay Marie says, hey, Jay Marie. Finally became a member on Patreon. So pumped to catch up on watching and chilling with the community in the future. Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much, by the way. Seriously. Bailey says, oh, look, it's Zed live on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, thank you. 100p Base asks, is Admiral Byrd's account legit? The guy, look at the track. We have to look at the track record of these people, right? So these are the same people that, fought in World War II. These are the same people that were put in charge to start, to lead operations that were taken very seriously. Why all of a sudden they would be discredited or delegitimized? Clearly, there's a reason. Now, not to say Admiral Byrd was discredited, but it was just kind of like, hey, what you found there, just, push it to the side kind of thing. In that day and age, you did not necessarily need to discredit people. In that regard, you could just silence them. It was much easier. Whereas nowadays, you got to do like a smear campaign on people and like, the whole 9 yards. Let me see. His of going to the Hollow Earth. Oh, you're asking about his account of going to the Hollow Earth. Look, I believe it. Like I always say, the government trusted them to do all these great things, and then it's like Hermann Oberth, right? He was a Nazi scientist that they recruited through Operation Paperclip. The guy helped bring man to the moon through propulsion systems. He says one quote where he says, we cannot attribute all of our advancements in propulsion technologies to ourselves. We have been helped by the people of other worlds. Look, he says that, and then it's like it's not acknowledged. It is an official confirmed quote, but what I'm saying is that, so we trusted him to bring man to the moon, but the second he starts talking about aliens, it's just kind of like, nah, don't worry about it. So I mean, I'm not trying to give you the answer 100p based, my friend, but that should be your answer, and if you choose to not believe it, I fully get that too. But again, look at the credibility, look at the consistency, the data points, right? Let's see here. Paul Czar asks, have you seen the debunking theory for that night vision video of that pyramid ship? They say it was filmed with a camera with a triangular aperture. It was pretty convincing. I have not. It would be interesting to see that because the Pentagon confirmed it, and I'm not trying to say you're wrong, Paul, but it would be interesting to see maybe if this was staged or something like this. Again, this could have been blue beam, nanotech, holographic tech, that the soldiers thought they were seeing something when they really weren't. That kind of stuff happens all the time. Jay Marie says, super weird dreams lately. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been having them. Annabelle Lopez says, love your podcast. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Matthew Renteria says, your name to Billy Clinton. Come on, I don't. You guys are funny sometimes in the chat. Hey man asks, is there anything in which you believe we should be informed about? In terms of aliens or like current day politics, or there's a lot. That's kind of. I mean, I'm not trying to sound rude, but that's kind of why I do an episode every day or almost every day. But MG says DMT or ayahuasca gives you eyes to see. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Jen Alum asks, what does Harry's necklace mean? Harry, like Prince Harry? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar. 100p based says the Matrix was probably a documentary. They said it was a mirage. It's a very good way of explaining stuff. It's still limited in the way that we understand it, but it's very good. Drew Phillip asks, any thought on the this one's interesting, on the theory that we all died in 2012 from a mass extinction event and our collective consciousness dealt with it by creating an alternate timeline, Trump, etc., stuff we never thought we'd see. Assuming that a collective enough consciousness through energy has been demonstrated at a much smaller level through direct energy weapons could be legit, it wouldn't surprise me, but you'd have to have enough of a manifestation to be able to want to do that collectively. But I would not rule that out. Let's see here. Matthew asks, link between the Lesser Key of Solomon and ETs. So there's so many links, brother. I'm not trying to say that to be vague, but there's so many. Like, for example, there is a drawing from predated to 3000 BC, if I'm not mistaken. I kid you not, guys. It's a freaking rocket ship. It's a drawing on a cave wall of a rocket ship. It looks exactly like NASA's rockets right now. I would dare to say one of two things. We're either looking at time travel, or we are either, excuse me, looking at aliens that have come down over and over and over again as human civilizations have been reset or restarted, if you will, have come down and taught us the basics of propulsion in order to get us to get places. Because again, the consistency there, this is what I mean by data points. We have that drawing, that drawing on that wall from 3000 BC. Now, I'm sure there's tons of stuff that happened in between. Don't get me wrong, but let's take a look at Herman Oberth. Herman Oberth said the people of other worlds helped develop our propulsion system. So clearly, aliens are feeding us information of stuff that they probably were working on 1 to 2 million years ago in the way that we measure time. It's like if we went to go see a civilization we went to a planet of aliens, right? And they were like extremely behind us, like super behind, like they're just starting to understand not even the horse and buggy, like just the wheel in general. You're not going to go there and give them an M16 if they start asking for weapons or the way they understand weapons. You're going to go there and you're going to give them a pistol from 100 years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's that same kind of idea, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Lunatics 180 says there are even ghost cities in Africa that China built for when climate shifts, and Africa will be the main food producer for real. Yes, this is what I mean. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of connections there. China's been, focused on buying up land in Africa. There's a reason why the US is not doing as much of that, because they have these agreements. They speak. Don't kid yourselves. They, not even at a presidential level, even higher than that. Let's see here. Cheryl Smith asks, do you think that Jasara will happen? Maybe. I wouldn't rule it out. Simsta asks, hey, bud, is hoaxing and BS alien footage on the decline? I would say so, because you're more than likely to be able to spot the fake stuff. Now, here's the thing. If you are a very good editor and you know technology and software, you can do some real gnarly stuff. Again, I like to look at the metadata. I have a couple people that look at that for me. I also like to look at the metadata, the originality of it all, and the what else was it too? My gosh, I'm drawing a brain fart. Excuse me, but yeah, basically the metadata, that kind of stuff. If it's a picture of a picture of a picture, or a video of a video of a video, you're kind of just up in the air, which is why there are certain videos on Patreon I throw up and I say deliberately, folks, this could be fake. I'm not saying, for sure if this is real or not. Then there are other ones where I say to the extent of my knowledge, this is legit. Let's see here. Zeralath asks, what position would Philip be in this world with his new body? Assuming he has the capability to access that technology, he'd probably be somebody who's just a nobody. I think it would come down to that, honestly. It'd be that he's a nobody who still has direct access of discrete communication strictly with the queen, and that's it. I would even dare to say people in his own family don't know that his soul's been transferred. Again, assuming he's got the access to that tech. Not all of them do. Let's see. Christian Russo asks, you have a Telegram channel? Yes, it's for our Patreon members, though. Josh Jacobs, thoughts on Werner von Braun tombstone, Psalms 19:1, the firmament. He, Werner von Braun was an apprentice of Hermann Oberth, right? And whatever Hermann Oberth said, Werner von Braun basically knew, and vice versa. Um, what do I think with that in terms of even like the overall prediction of the agenda of what he told his granddaughter on his deathbed allegedly? I think so. Let's see here. Do you think Sonia asks, do you think planets could be ships? Yes. Yeah. If you can terraform a planet to in a certain way, yeah. Let's see. 100p based asks, what do you think is sorry, Sonia, let me just say very quickly, if you can harness the appropriate technology to manifest or create a craft that would be large in size, that has the same characteristics as a planet in terms of, electrogravitics, piezoelectricity, things like that, in theory you've built a planet technically. But again, that's terraforming. You're talking like stuff that we see not even in Star Trek. Actually, no, I think we do see it in Star Trek, but you get what I'm saying. Let's see. What do you think is the most cutting edge hypothesis about what's going on right now that you think people need to know about the most? Oh, okay. When I asked for you to clarify, thank you, 100p based. The most cutting edge hypothesis that there's way more aliens coming from underground, and I don't even know if I would call them aliens, super advanced humans than we think. I think, to tell you the truth, folks, if I could just say before I go on with the questions, so Dan, is it John Radcliffe, the former director of national intelligence for under the Trump administration, he said on Fox News a couple weeks ago they wanted to put out the some of the UFO reports before Trump left office, but he said, and I quote, he goes, the reason why we couldn't put it out was because we had a difficult time explaining some of the encounters. Okay, I think I said this before, but my perspective on that is this. When you say difficult time explaining, first off, when we look at it just from the perspective of just up front, it's either yes or no. It's either they're alien or it's from another country or not. Now, in terms of trying to explain certain things because maybe these UFOs interacted with classified military technology, I can understand why you have to redact or black out some things. Here's the thing though, I have a theory on my own that I just kind of came up with that it's a bit out there, but it would be interesting. I think it's possible that some of the reasons why they cannot explain some things that they cannot put into the public version of the report is because some of these reports might say the craft have been seen by US Navy soldiers or Air Force soldiers or pilots coming out from underground instead of space. Right now, again, we could say they have an underground base there or an underwater base. It doesn't mean that that's where they live, but that's I mean, look, like, I think you guys see what I'm saying. I don't know what else it could be in terms of when he says hard to explain. It's either they're alien or they're not. You know what I mean? Now, again, it'd be much more difficult for people to grasp if a lot of these craft came from underground and it was a civilization that broke away from humanity 3,000-4,000 years ago, right? So, let's see. Oh, damn it, the chat jumped. Someone asked if I could put my hat sideways for extra swag. Hold on. I will get to all of you. Scott asks, I'm just reading it as I go up here. Is there an Alex Jones of the United States and Canada? It used to be, I don't know if you guys know this. If you're familiar with Gavin McGinnis, it was kind of him because he's from Montreal. He's Canadian. Zeralath, I appreciate that, but I'm not a genius at all. I appreciate that though. Hold on, folks. I will get to all of you, I promise. Okay. So Angel says, can you put your hat sideways for some extra swag? Maybe one day. Zeralath says Farsight is great. Remember, we have layers, and Farsight tries not to analyze wrong. Yes, right. You Real says seconded for sideways hat. Oh man. Down Jones Muller says, did you hear About the guy who got a letter from Ted Kaczynski, he made his wife open it. Yeah, I heard about that. You Real says Ted Kaczynski was a prophet. Um, it's I'm gonna be careful touching that topic. It's iffy, but I yeah. Let's see here. 100p based says you were catching up. Not sure if that's for me, my friend. That message. OTR Res says, why do you think Bill Gates wants to cover up the sun? That that guy, man. I look. I think there's a lot of stuff out there that actually benefits humanity, but I think there's a lot of stuff thrown in there too that we don't know about at all, right? It's like Elon Musk with the with Starlink, right? You don't think the CIA has their hand in that? Like, you know what I mean? So when what does Bill Gates want to do when covering up the sun? Okay, to answer this question in a serious way, I would first need to know, as someone looking into this, what extent and to what level Bill Gates has access to this type of alien technology, if at all. Um, I would need to know to what extent, and then I'd be able to give a better understanding. So, OTR Res, I'm sorry, but I don't want to give a flat out answer when I don't have one. I don't want to just ramble. Um, Sam Skaten asks, "What do you think about selling your soul? Is it a real thing, or is your soul infinite?" I think selling your soul could mean that I think your soul is infinite. I think the frequencies that could influence it is what they're talking about there in terms of a literal sense. Um, Justin says, I absolutely love the Farsight Institute. The episode on the reptilians was insane, and the current 2 released episodes are very informative. Yeah, yeah. Um, let's see here. 100p based says the heart of the cards. Not sure what you mean there, my friend. The WMLG asks, do you think alien disclosure would be the downfall of religion? Like, how would religious people react to things that defy what they have read in their books, or things that could be demons? I think you'll have a bit of both. I think you'll have a large group of people actually double down on their religion, and then they'll just end every argument with, well, who created them? I also think you'll have a lot of people that will question religion as well, too. That's a good question, man. In terms of what percentage, or girl, sorry, in terms of what percentage of the world would, double down on religion, others would just completely open their mind and say, look, they're alien. What's the big deal? And then others that would like freak the hell out. I don't know. That's a good one to think about, though. Let's see here. Let's talk about says, I live in Alaska. There's a lot of UFOs here. Have you heard of the big earthquake we had recently, like 2 years ago, maybe underground base digging? Okay, I'm going to say something that's going to sound ridiculous. Let's talk about, but I want to say it. Okay, so you remember in the late 90s, NOAA, NOAA, I think it's the institute responsible, or the organization responsible for overseeing what goes on underwater. They spotted a mammal or a creature, or a blip that was something like 3 times the size of the Empire State Building. I would dare to say there are underwater creatures that are so big. I don't want to use the word kaiju from the movies and stuff, because that might deter people. But I say this because, for example, you see what's going on in Antarctica right now, or in the Arctic. You see why all the Russian military is going there. Do you guys have an idea why? No one knows why. It's because there apparently is a massive creature that is about to hit the surface. They have to deter. They don't have problems deterring them. They actually use nukes, DEWs, direct energy weapons, and if they need to, certain alien tech to deter them. These beings are massive beings. They're conscious beings. They're intellectual. They're huge. It's just a matter of making sure they don't come to the surface. A lot of earthquakes, things like that, have been the result of this. In a lot of cases, like, for example, Fidel Castro back in the day accused the U.S. of manipulating the weather. If you think they can't do that stuff, believe me, they can. Now, when we see, for example, there's leaked videos of the rod of God. And I don't know if you guys have heard of that. Basically destroying a volcano. Believe me when I tell you, aliens are working with humans to make sure everything stays at balance, which is why I would dare to say nothing major has happened yet environmentally. I mean, okay, fine, that might be a bit vague, but you guys know what I mean in terms of like huge amounts of evacuations or things like that. I honestly think that's why. When you say, let's talk about you live in Alaska, that's definitely one of the places you'd want to be in terms of if you're looking for a deep underground military base or something like that. Let's see here. Josh Jacobs says tinfoil hat. Oh, I was not on tinfoil hat podcast. I was on Our Big Dumb Mouth, and I was on the Higher Side chats. But Sam Tripoli, I think he's a co-host of the our of not Our Big Dumb Mouth. He's a co-host of damn it, but you know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Anita says the sun is healing. When the sun is blocked, your skin doesn't absorb vitamin D, which is crucial for bones and mental health. Less sun, more broken bones and mental health issues. That's true. That's true for us. Yes. I do think there is technology that could literally give us the vitamins we need, not pills. I mean, like full on tech, probably reverse alien tech. That could do that kind of stuff. But I agree with you 100%, Anita. Let's see. Down Jones Muller asks, is Morgellons from chemtrails? I I don't know. I don't, and I got to be careful with chemtrails too, which is so stupid. But it's ridiculous. This is what happens when YouTube has a freaking monopoly on the market. Jack Runner says, how do we unlock our DNA? It's tough. I would say if you're talking spiritually, there's a lot of things, but I mean, I would say technology would be the only answer, at least because of how suppressed we've been. Um, the WMLG asks, will there be a point where we have worn Earth out enough to the point where we can't use oil, coal no more, and companies will be naturally forced to bring out zero point tech, or is climate change BS? It's an agenda. There's a big agenda. I don't think zero point tech will ever come out unless it can be controlled to a degree in which we cannot imagine. Because when you introduce something, it's not even just about introducing it to the average person. It's also about introducing it to criminals. You have to, like, nuclear bombs. Look at how much of a hard time the CIA has trying to get, nuclear bombs out of the hands of terrorists, and you name it. Imagine if a terrorist got a hold of zero point energy. We'd have a big, I'm serious, we'd have a freaking problem, folks. And I'm not even kidding. We'd have a big problem, which is kind of why I'm okay with it being hidden. Now, with that being said, though, I'm also upset that it's hidden because we could use that to live on our own, right? Be self-sufficient. Let's see. Let's talk about says the man who got attacked in the underground base said that a war was going to happen in 2029. Are you talking about Phil Schneider? Jer A says, so about the doppelganger thing, how should I go about it? Because most of the time my friends and family have seen him. They said he was driving literally in the same car and shiny bald head. Are they seeing this person or this doppelganger physically? Or is this something they're saying just they see? Either way, if you're that's tough, my friend. If it's telepathic or it's there's a direct energy weapon being used, I'm not trying to make it seem like there's no hope, but it's tough. There's certain methods you can use to deter them and to push them away. But if you're genuinely being gang stalked or you have a doppelganger, it's hard to say. I would say try. I mean, okay, fine. Depending where you are in the world because of the pandemic, I would say try going to 2 different hotels over the course of a week, and then you see from there if you're really being tailed or not. And I'm serious. Also the vibe that you get too. Play it normal. Pretend like you're a person from out of town to everybody else. That's what I would do. Dojo, thank you so much. SCP asks, how can we activate our abilities and astral project and all of that? It takes a lot of time and focus. It's not that difficult to astral project and remote view, but it takes time and focus. Zeralath asks, Zoroastrian is the pre-Islamic religion of Persia. Oh, cool. Zeralath also says water has totally dissolved solids. Interesting. Let me see. So the WMLG asks, sorry for the question, Spam Dave. No worries at all. But do you think elites would spin the existence of aliens and say they are our gods or something for their own agendas? One world religion, one world order. Not gods. And I'll tell you why. Not gods, because we wouldn't fall for that now. It would have to be a different perception. Again, they accommodate themselves to whatever our current understanding of things are. So, for example, Valiant Thor, when Valiant Thor came to the Pentagon, what normally Valiant Thor came with two other aliens, two other Venusians from Venus, and they basically, and they don't live on the planet Venus, by the way. They kind of stay in the orbit, so to speak. They used to have their beards grown out and all that stuff. They then shaved their beards, changed their names. Their real name, his real name was not Valiant Thor. They changed their names to suit our perception of things. They put on human clothes. They come, I mean, they get it, the human clothes from Earth, don't get me wrong, but you know, they cut their hair in the way that humans do. They shave like that. So when you ask, you know, if they would come down as gods, I don't think people would fall for that now. You still have people that would, but let's see. Bailey says they don't fluoridate the water here in Hawaii, but a lot of people don't realize that they put a lot of worse things than just fluoride in water around the world. Right. Absolutely. Yes. Let's talk about says, have you seen the movies Prometheus and Alien Covenant? They talk a lot about the black goo thing. Let's talk about, yes. Actually, ironically enough, two of my favorite, not two of my favorite movies, not of all time, but yeah, that I would say that's predictive programming for programmable matter or black goo. Absolutely. Let's see. 100p based asks, have you ever tried to play devil's advocate in your head and think maybe the globalists who run the world know better than us? Absolutely. That's why I say on the show, sometimes certain things I make it clear this might not actually be a bad thing, but it might not be a good thing either. Which is why I think the New World Order, I think it is bad. But we have to define bad, and I'm not trying to sound like a smartass. Bad in what sense? Long term, like will all of humanity die? No. Will lots of humans die? I'm sure of it. So it's all context, right? Let's see. Order 66 TV asks, which rabbit hole scares you the most that you've explored so far? Can I be honest with you guys? Which one scares me the most lately? The usage of humans using direct energy weapons. And I know that sounds messed up because you, with all the stuff that aliens have. But look, if aliens wanted to mess with us, they would have did it by now. And maybe they are. But in terms of the rabbit hole that scared me the most, I sometimes go about my day thinking, how can I deter my, this is, I don't care, I'm weird, I don't care, you know, how could I deter myself from a direct energy weapon? You can't, if I'm sure there are methods to do that, but the question is, are those methods privy to us, right? But I do play devil's advocate a lot. Let's see. So the rabbit hole that scares me the most, would you believe me if I told you I'm scared of humans more than I am of aliens, even if aliens are dangerous? Because when you get to know people in general like, I'm not even trying to sound corny. I got to think about that though. If you're talking about what rabbit hole in terms of an alien conspiracy scares me the most, probably, and I'm being very careful here, this is the most I could say, the trafficking of kids. It's very real. But it kind of intermeshes with something else that's really getting censored right now. You guys know what I mean. Let's see here. 100p based says, and they might be right by trying to get rid of us, or is that crazy? Oh, okay, yeah. I answer that. Let's talk about says, there is more and more leaked footage from the government about UFOs. Something big is about to happen. They'll try to do something big. I mean, this is not. I am 99% convinced, and you can all disagree with me. That's totally cool. I'm 99% convinced aliens have introduced themselves and reintroduced themselves God knows how many times. This is just another one of those times. Let's see here. Jack Dark 13 says Vril parasites are not the same as Naga or Naga, by the way. The Naga are a serpent people, an ancient reptile race. There are so many species on Earth, and some have been here even longer than current humanity. Absolutely, Jack. I would agree with you 100%. Dustin says Admiral Byrd was a Freemason. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, no. I think I read that, but I'm not. Yeah, that's cool to know, though. Good fun fact. Thank you for pointing that out, Dustin. Jack says Vril are reptilians, but they are a different race from the Naga. Gotcha. Right. Dojo says, oh, thanks, Dojo. I appreciate that. Let's talk about asks, have you seen that Russian footage that showed the find of an alien mummy in the pyramids? I have, and I think it's real. Jack Dark says some footage from Agartha would be pretty cool. Oh, here's the thing though, folks, even if we got footage from Agartha, people would call it fake. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when a real UFO is seen. People call a lot of people, a lot of skeptics, excuse me, call it fake. The thing is this though, and how do you know if it's fake if you don't know what it's supposed to look like or how it's supposed to maneuver? If it's anti-gravity, how does it look fake? If it's going in the way that anti-gravity through quantum entanglement may in fact work, right? So I'm not saying that they're wrong, but I would lean more to the side of it's real, assuming, because the technology's there. It's not like it's not there. For those who really look, disclosures in theory already happened. Now, not in the way that we would like, obviously, but it's there. Let's see here. Oh, D4 research. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Um, Also, by the way, D4, let me make something clear. I don't always get things right. I don't claim to be absolutely correct all the time. The goal in general is to expand perception, but there's more to it than that. I do pride myself in things when I end up being right, though. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. Oh, 100p base, no problem. D4 research asks, do you think the evidence points towards an extinction? Uh, in what regard? D4 extinction, as in what regard? The cycling of humanity? I mean, oh, you talking about New World Order pointing to a possible extinction of mankind or humankind? I don't think a full-on extinction. No. Let's see here. Zaralath says the rocket could be a remote viewing of us now. Atom Bomb says till 100p based. I've definitely thought. Oh, okay. Let's talk about asks, if an alien war happens, what form do you think it would take? I know this sounds a little bit nuts. I think it's happening now. Asymmetrical warfare. It would not be the way in which we envision a ground war or a space war, like a full on. You got one side here, one side there, and they go at it. I think it's happening right now. Asymmetrical warfare, absolutely. I think you would need these alien beings to really, really stoop to low level. Okay, so we know for a fact that aliens in general, regardless of species, regardless of intention, generally tend to have their own set of rules and principles. You look at the dark side of the moon, and I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but apparently, there's multiple bases and they all abide by these rules, even though some species don't get along with each other. I think it's the same idea. I think asymmetrical warfare is the way of the future. I think when you are a species that intelligent, to stoop to the level of a form of ground warfare would be the last resort. And so that's why I say that. Let's see here. Wind says 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. Just want to hear you say it. All right, brother, no problem. Let's see here. Beatrice Santos asks, do you think that Chinese medicine was brought by aliens? More than 3,000 years have passed and we still can't explain a lot of things. Chinese medicine? I think they've helped us in biology. I think they've helped us in genetics. I think they've helped us in a lot of things. Fiber optics. Apparently, we got Kevlar from reverse engineering some of their stuff. When people say technology brought by aliens, we also have to understand that there's the technology aliens give us, and then there's the technology humans obtain on their own. So apparently the Ashtar Command, which the Venusians are our representatives, so to speak, or they oversee us, they were not happy that we got a hold of some stargates and some portals from Iraq. They were not happy about that, but again, we got a hold of it. So it's that same idea. Do I think Chinese medicine was brought by aliens, though? I think in general they've been feeding us droplets of assistance, but I also think that they stopped helping us too when they realized that we're just screwing ourselves over. Like, you don't think they have the cure for most cancers? Come on, right? Like, let me see here. Keeping the faith. Oh, thank you so much, my friend. I hope you enjoy. Bruce Leroy asks, have you heard of YouTuber Bro Sanchez and his take on flat Earth? I have. I respect everybody. I try to. D4 research says the pulsate. Let's see. Dustin B says hologram tech is going to be used for fake alien invasion. That would be the idea, but again, hologram is such a broad word. D4 research says they pulsate. It's like a light within a light. Right. Matthew Renteria. Thank you, Matthew. NYC Street Artist asks, any thoughts about RH blood type? RH null and RH negative tend to generally get more abducted. Yeah. Abducted more often. Sorry. Um, D4 Research asks, do you think the last card effort is in progress? Not sure what you mean by last card effort. Um, Dustin says, nothing in this realm gets past the firmament. Nothing in, nothing out, enclosed system. I agree with you. Yeah. Let's see here. Alicia asks, does anyone know or think they know what's under the Sphinx? Your guess is as good as mine, Alicia. I think if there was nothing, they would have done a little thing. They would have had, the mainstream media show up. Look, they're going to lift it up, and then nothing. I think there is something, but as to what it could be, I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, the chat jumped. Shit. Hold on. I'll get there. Zeralath asks, what do you think is the most powerful ancient artifact the elites have? I think it's stuff we've never even heard of, if you want to know the truth. Why even tell people if it's let me see. Hold on. I'll get to all of you. Yo, Griff, what's going on? Dude asks, are you a fan of Tech Nine? You mean the rapper? I like some of his songs, yeah. Here we go. Anita says, I heard Philip was skipping through the life cycle. I guess you're saying Prince Philip. He was finally stopped. That's why he died at 99, and he's not been able to reincarnate. He's been bound. The mummy's being brought back with the cars. Possibly. I wouldn't rule it out. Drew says, found out that the Royals get honorary military promotions every 5 years after they're out. Thus, where all those extra military medals and titles come from, apparently. Oh, from the Andrew thing. Okay, I get. Okay. All right. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. D4 says, I love Mars. Let's see. Dustin says, I love Almond Joy. Tara says, your notifications were removed from my YouTube notifications. It says you removed your video. I tried 2 streams before this, and that could have been why. Yeah. Let's talk about asks, what do you think about the engineers from the Prometheus movie? A little bit of drop feeding. I don't think it's accurate. I think a little bit of drop feeding. Or, I mean, if you're talking about the origin of mankind or humans or life on Earth, that's I cannot answer that. But in terms of those beings being humanoid and just larger than us, I think there are many species like that. Yes. Bailey asks, when do we get a guinea pig exclusive? Well, my guinea pigs are over there right now. They're down the hall. I think they're sleeping. Let's see here. Zeralath, I'm a contrarian. Forget the hat. I want a mohawk. D4 Research says because he's Mr. Burns. I guess we were talking about Bill Gates at the time. Super Artist says Beard Hawk. Anita says your soul essence is in your pineal gland. Yeah, I agree. Jason Space Station says Ted K was a Harvard student, MK Ultra Manchurian candidate whose programming broke down or did it. Right, exactly. That's the dilemma I have with myself sometimes there. Anita says if they want to clone anyone, they just need your pineal gland to take the real essence of the person's soul, so the double will be exactly like the original. Right. Yes, yeah. There's a few ways to do it. That's one of them. Red BCM15 says, bruh, please talk more about the really big underwater conscious creature, please. I don't know a lot about them. I know that they do exist though, and that governments and military generally they make agreements. The major countries do, as I covered in an episode about the substrates of the different countries. I think they make agreements, and I think that they say, okay, Russia, you're going to do this because the public narrative is that you guys are already secretive anyways, so you take care of this massive giant that might come up to the surface, that kind of stuff. And I think it also is coordinated with aliens. And I would say that world human governments take orders from aliens in terms of how to handle giants and stuff. Keep in mind, too, folks, a lot of aliens that are coming here are coming back to Earth after God knows how many hundreds of years. So, again, when you've lived for that long, as long as you're being honest, the knowledge and experience is unmatched compared to people who've only been on this Earth for 60, 70 years, right? Let's see. Riviera says, I want to hear more about the huge sea creatures. Joel P says alien mermaids. Um, there's a lot of them, guys. There's a lot of them. There's alien mermaid. I talk about them on my Patreon, but I'll if I could share my screen right now, I would straight up put up pictures of some legitimate mermaids, and I don't want to call them mermaids, more like humanoid, half not even human, half humanoid, half mammal, so to speak, half amphibian, if you want to call it. Let's see. You know what it is too, folks? It's not so much the creatures that it's not so much what they look like, it's the fact that they're conscious. That's what scares a lot of the military industrial complex, right? That they can engage with people if you go to an isolated area. Now, then they just rely on the fact that no one's going to believe you, right? So I'm saying if you go fishing somewhere, you go to a beach where there's nobody, something happens, and you encounter something, they're just gonna. That's just the way it would work. Bruce Leroy says, "Oh, sorry, Jason Space Station says Sam Tripoli also hosts Broken Simulation. Ah, okay, yes, he is like, dude, he hosts a lot of shows. That I got a lot of respect for that guy. Um, Bruce Leroy says Morgellons and black goo, programmable matter, have a correlation. Look up Harold Kuntz on Morgellons. Yes, yes. Griff says we're all awakened. Yeah, brother. Tom says, hey, glad I caught the show. Thank you for coming on, Tom. Bailey says, in my experience, the best way to get them to stop attacking you with direct energy weapons is to ignore them. I guess you're talking about doppelgangers, gang stalkers. Let me see. D4 asks, do you think these are good aliens, and do you think there are good aliens and bad ones fighting over humanity and Earth? Yeah, but not in the way that you'd think. They're fighting over different factions of humanity to stay on their side, so to speak. And those are just the ones with manipulative agendas. Let's see here. There are some of them that are literally on this planet just to chill, and I'm not even kidding. I call them like passerbys, if bypassers or whatever. Let me see. Rolls Royce asks, when and how do we know when to try or allow to connect? Sorry, my friend, connect to what? Let's see. Bruce Leroy asks, you subscribe to Indigo Children or Star Seeds? I believe I've been visited at a young age by agents that measure intelligence for the age. Yes. If you believe that to be the case, usually that's secret space program recruiting. Believe it or not, my friend. They take you when you're young. They literally, according to someone who's close to me who has claimed to have been in the secret space program, it's literally, if they approve you, the way it works is there's like a Stargate. I'm not even joking. It's like a circular Stargate, and it's the 20 and back program. You literally walk through the Stargate and you just walk out to the other side, and that's it. You've basically done a timeline, time travel kind of thing. Let's see. Jer A says, I appreciate it. Oh, no problem. And they've seen him physically. Like, I had to show my friends and family my Google Map thing so they could see where I was at the time they saw him. If it could be, I don't want to say Men in Black, but it could be that same idea. It could be a human alien hybrid. I don't. Again, Jer, I mean this seriously and respectfully. I don't know what's going on in your personal life. So I don't. I would need more context to get a better understanding for me to give some advice. Let's see here. Bailey says the Anunnaki Elohim are going to come back and say that they created us, which is true, and they will use that to make us think they are gods. They may be in pyramidal shaped UFOs. I believe that to be. I think that's one very strong possibility. Let's see. Oh, but they're definitely, like Bailey says, they're definitely not gods. No way. I would not. I don't care how many times they try to jam that in my head. You'd have to brainwash me to believe that. Let's see here. Well, D4 asks, what if they are? D4, I don't think so, my friend. You'd have, like I said, you'd have to provide some very convincing evidence to tell me that they're gods. Just because they created us doesn't exactly make them gods. But again, we have to define God too, right? Let's see. Jer says it's been a while since someone has seen him. It's interesting too because this was happening way more when I was heavy into my spiritual path. If that is the case, that's usually sometimes there have been instances where people have tried doing certain spiritual. I don't want to use the word ritual, but what's the activations, let's call them, and the next day they get a visit by the military. So there's clearly a correlation there. For those who don't think that the military does not take spirituality or energy seriously, believe me, they do. Um, and so does the intelligence. They all do. Let's see. Red BCM15 says, please talk more about the giant underwater conscious creatures that we have to stop. Why do we have to stop them? It's just from creating damage on the surface. They don't have like a secret agenda, at least that I know of. It's just to prevent them from creating damage on the surface, from hiding them from the vast majority of humanity, that kind of stuff. Let's see. Because even if there's giants, it's the same reaction as aliens. I would dare to. I mean, generally in that general area, people start to question their religion. Like I said, they'll either double down on their religion or they'll go to another path. Some people will not be able to cope with it. Not even kidding. Generally, that's the older generation, though. The much older generation, they're set in their ways. Not all of them, but let's see here. Bo Stevens says there was chemical deployment on U.S. troops in Gulf War by the U.S. Army. It was called Project Blue Horizon or something like that. False flag, similar to like the Gulf of Tonkin. I wouldn't rule it out. And by the way, folks, I'm not trying to shit on the U.S. By the way, I would say other countries do this all the time. Let's see here. D4 says the black slime stuff is scary. Yeah, the black goo. Yeah. Let's see. D4 says, do you think there are blood-sucking aliens that plan to harvest humans like we do cows? They've already been abducting humans. Yeah, there are some of them. Blood-sucking, some of them actually like to eat us. Yes, some of them don't. Let's see here. Oh, Steven, what's going on, brother? Okay, hold on. Tom says to D4, aliens are using Earth. This is interesting. Tom says to answer D4's question, aliens are using Earth similar to the way superpowers of Earth have used smaller countries in proxy wars and to promote their agendas. There you go. Exactly. I think there's more to it, but that's a very, very good way of putting it. Proxy wars. That's what I mean by asymmetrical warfare, by the way. Let's take a look here. Oh, no problem. 100p based. A legendary SSJ asks, what was the video called about the CIA agent that was trying to infiltrate African secret societies? Was it John Stock? Is this what I'm thinking about? Are we thinking about this here? Hold on. No. John. Hold on. John Stockwell? Was that him? John Stockwell, maybe? Okay, let's see here. Anita says, yes, the blood of the young is the immortality serum and anti-aging like the vampires that drink blood. Yeah, so it's not. Here's the thing, and it kind of ties in and it intermeshes with the, I mean, I could say the letter Q. Yeah, it ties in with the Q stuff because it's complicated. It's legit. Not the Q. Well, okay, I got to be careful here. Sorry, guys. Just give me a second to try to phrase this without getting this stream removed. There are certain species that like to eat humans. The reason why most experimentation happens on children is because it's very simple. The organs, the whole body is fresh, and it's true. It's that you can also neutralize organ frequencies as well. There's so much, guys. There's so many reasons why it's for kids. I mean, would you rather, even as a scientist, let's just assume you're a geneticist and you're following all the rules. Would you rather experiment on someone who's a smoker who might be a little bit overweight or something like this, or would you rather experiment on someone who's much more healthier but they're much younger? So because then it paves the way for the general idea of what other humans will be like, especially from birth. That's the idea. That's why they kidnap the kids in these national forests and these national parks when they're young. Let's see here. Oh, Leland Levy says, been watching since the New Year's. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that. Let me see. Eddie LaRosa says, hi, Dave. Do you think that Beyond Meat is human meat? No, I don't. I have to say it like that, or else, yeah, or else I'll get banned. But no, I don't. um, Earthworth says William Gates or Bill Gates' plans are the freakiest. They're definitely interesting. Let's talk about says maybe the Earth is like the planet Titan in Avatar movie, like a one big nervous system, and us humans are like batteries, seeds, pieces of energies, and some aliens use us as a tool. Yeah, 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 absolutely. That's a great way to look at it. Um, Again, think about it. Where do they get these ideas from? A lot of times, right? Um, duh, 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 duh. Okay. Bruce Leroy asks your take on Tartaria and a civilizational reset. Oh, I think it's been reset many times. Many times. Normally don't like to, reference religious or cultural things because they can sometimes be distorted. But I think the Hindu scriptures do a good job of explaining the reset. I mean, folks, you ever read any of the Hindu scriptures about like a nuclear bomb being dropped? It's insane. It's a replica of the technology we have now, which is why I've said like an hour ago, it's either time travel or aliens kept reteaching us certain things. But it seems like though we did not learn how to split the atom from aliens. I think it was Einstein that literally did that. If I have my history correct. Justin says if you think fluoride is bad, look into what glyphosate is. I'll be doing something on that soon, Justin. Dojo says, wouldn't it be amazing to have video footage from an alien planet? I think they have it. It's just not public. Beatrice Santos says acupuncture, the theory of meridians still is unexplained. Yes, you're right. LEK says it's spiritual. Aliens are demons. If you don't believe that, they're succeeding in their deception. I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out. I'd want to know what you mean, LEK, respectfully by demons, because again, everyone has different interpretations. Hold on. Hydro Hose says, what is this? You see everything, it all breaks down in front of you. The essence, the air itself. I've seen this before, brother. Is a complex design pulled into the void. You gain momentum, locked forward, only slowing to what seems a yeah, but yes, I agree. Yeah. Riel says, hey, love all your research, brother. What have you learned about Pleiades, the star constellation and race? They're peaceful, they're chill, they're not nearly as advanced as others, mainly because of their intentions. If you're more of a peaceful, tranquil person, you're going to spend less time on technological development as you are spiritual enlightenment, if you will, or energetic capability. That's not to say that they're not advanced. They have weaponry to defend themselves, absolutely, but I would not say that they are at the top of the top in terms of advancement. The Pleiades are, I I mean, they're very spiritual though, and very similar to the way that we understand spirituality. We can argue that they taught us that in a lot of ways. Hopefully, I'd love to Riel. Let's talk more on Telegram, brother. Because oh damn it, the chat jumped. Shit. Because there's a lot there about the Palladians we can get into. Hold on, I'll get everyone. A D4 asks, "Are you an artist?" No, I used to be able to draw. I probably still can, but hold on. I'll get to everybody, I promise. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about says aliens around the earth and within the earth are like humans on earth, basically live around each other, but one bad step can make everything come crash down, and we would be in the midst of all that. Right. That's what I'm saying when I say that other species come here or they return here to maintain that balance. The I would say to many alien races, the value of this planet, whether these aliens' intentions are good or not, the value of this planet is far too great for it to just basically be destroyed. Let's see. Anita says we're all experimental test subjects on this earth. There's aliens giving the higher up people orders to do things to us. Yes, yeah. Let's see here. Narek, hey, what's going on? 100p says the Hall of Records is supposed to be under the Sphinx, I think. Interesting. D4 says the government's last card effect. They'll use the alien phenomenon as a way to control the masses by fear. Oh, that's an ability that I mean that's a possibility, but I don't think that's the most likely one, but I think it's a very strong possibility. Yep. I got a Patreon episode coming out tonight after I finish this stream where we kind of cover that. They were going to disclose George Bush Sr., Ronald Reagan, William Casey, CIA Director William Casey and one other gentleman was going to disclose it until one of Reagan's United Nations colleagues got abducted by hybrids pretending to be aliens that were being controlled by humans, just to scare the shit out of Reagan to make sure that he did not disclose it. I kid you not. There's full on evidence for that. Seriously. That'll be on the Patreon later tonight. Oh man, and the footage on this tonight's Patreon episode, I got footage of a giant, dude. It was hard to find, but I can't say if it's legit, but I mean it certainly does look legit from like the 30s or 40s, something like that. Maybe some of you have seen it. Let's see. Impressive says Tomb of Osiris is supposedly under the Sphinx. Ah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there was nothing there, believe me, they'd have CNN all over that. Like, oh, look, we're gonna lift it, and or we're gonna go in it and check. Anita says CERN Stargates. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Sam Skaten asks, do you like Maz Def? Yes, yeah, I do. Kingfish Kebab says, greetings, Sir Zed. Greetings, Sir Kebab. How are you? Jen Alam says, my family's from Iraq and they're so rich in ancient culture. I'd love an episode explaining and talking about their Stargate, King Gilgamesh, and things like this. Thank you. I've touched on it, Jen, but I will commit to doing a full one. I cannot promise you when, but I will commit. I got a lot of stuff going on in terms of content right now. So, but I promise you, I will definitely commit to that. Super Artist says, interesting on Firmament. If there is no in or out in closed system, what's your take on SSP info? Disinformation or PSYOP? A bit of everything. Yeah. Again, you bring yourself down before everybody else does. You control the way it happens. So some of it is true. And it would have to be for that strategy to work. Joel P says Crystal Skulls. Yep. Buckwheat Ryan asks, have you made any videos on Valiant Thor or anywhere he's featured in? A ton. But I have to admit, Buckwheat, off the top of my head, I don't know if I really went into super detail about that, but Impressive says also supposedly there are very large reptilians. Yeah. Let's see. Order 66 says, I literally see at least 5 chemtrails a day. Yeah, I believe it. Look, I really do. And I can't believe I'm limited about what I can talk about on a YouTube live stream about chemtrails. What a joke. 100p says, what gives you peace in all of the chaos that's going on in the world? Like, what do you think about that gives you hope for the future? Can I be honest? I don't look that far ahead. I literally go day by day. Because if I did look that far ahead, I would probably break down mentally, to tell you the truth. I have no shame in admitting that. It's usually day by day. What gives me peace in all the chaos, when I have a day of just looking through all this research and I go, holy shit, and I notice myself getting a little more paranoid than usual. What I usually look forward to is a nice movie with some sushi. That's my thing. That's how I kind of just bring myself back down. But I haven't been able to do that much lately, to tell you the truth. Let's see. Bruce Leroy says, to clone, all you need is a DNA sample, hence blood drives. Yes, yeah. D4 asks, is Jesus an alien and will he return? Allegedly, he was not an alien, but something about him. He was ascended to a higher dimension, spiritual, energetically, if you will. Let's see. Kush Nasty McDabs, I like the username, brother, says, good evening from Alberta. I appreciate all the hard work you put into research and your tremendous effort to constantly upload. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Let me see. Tom says, is it possible that humans will be pushed aside and forced to extinction the way that weaker native cultures on Earth have been? No, not for now, at least, in my opinion. Not for now, but possible. I mean, look, guys, everything's possible. I guess if you're asking more about the likelihood of, it happening in the next, 50 to 100 years, I don't think so. I think if they were going to do it, they would have did it by now. But I could be wrong, and I'll gladly admit if I'm wrong. JJ says, I want to see some mermaids. Can you send a link? JJ, if you can email me, I'll send you the pictures that I got. They're not links, they're pictures, like PDF pictures. Let me see. Alexander says, have you seen Godzilla versus Kong? Predictive programming, giant creatures living inside of Earth, very strange. I was about to, and then I didn't. But I know everyone is telling me, Dave, you got to see it. I know, guys, I know. And I firmly believe that with regards to the predictive programming. Let's see here. Let's talk about asks if you find yourself alone face to face with a gray, what would be your first question slash reaction? I'd probably try to communicate with physical gestures first. Allegedly, they respond to that much more. But I mean, assuming it's not already trying to communicate telepathically. Um, Depends on the situation and the context, though. Let's see. Let me see. Bailey says it's happened to her, and you can never predict the feeling you'll have. I imagine that. I could see that. Yeah. I mean, you don't know, right? I mean, not to talk tough or whatever, but you don't know until all of a sudden you see one, and then it's like, holy crap! Like, your heart skips a beat, and you're like, your first instinct is to run because you want to see an alien, you want to meet one, but when it actually happens, it's like, holy shit, Um, Joel, thanks, man, I appreciate that. Let's see. D4 asks, do you prefer saying UFO or UAP? Honestly, probably just UFO. UAP is the new term that they've just adjusted to it. I'd say UFO. Joel says better than Discovery and some ancient alien stuff on strange creatures in the water and time traveler warriors on Mars. Yeah, yeah. Zerolith says I've heard the pyramid crap has to design of the aliens that work with the CCP. Maybe, but there's more to it than that in terms of the shape itself. The pure, yeah, I know what you mean. It's complicated with the triangle and the pyramid. If there's a difference between the ones that use the triangle craft and the pyramid ones. The triangle craft were allegedly reverse engineered, and based off of a design from was it the reptilians? I think it was. This is from a friend of mine, by the way. I want to make this very clear too. I'm pulling a lot of stuff that I'm remembering from my head from people that I've interviewed and stuff like that. So it's not all me finding this stuff out on my own. Aragami says, did you guys see the guy who was apparently time traveling in 2027, Valencia, Italy? I heard about this, but I didn't look into it, to tell you the truth. Let me see. And posting videos of an empty city. Ooh, I didn't know about that. I'm gonna take a quick picture. If you don't wait, no, picture. I'm gonna write it down. What am I saying? Picture. Let me see. Of Valencia City. I'll remember it for later. Whatever. Brandon Gibson says, you sure are a sexy spaceman. Thanks, Brandon. Dude asks, have you experimented with the CE5 protocols? If so, what were the results? I did, and not exactly the CE5 protocols. I put it out there that, and if this might sound weird, I put it out there I'd want to see a UFO, and it was almost as if for maybe 10 seconds there was something that clicked in my mind and my body where it felt like time stopped just around me, and then I just snapped back to normal. And then a week later, a bunch of 3 UFOs outside my apartment, and they were back. They come every 2 to 3 days. I don't think it's for me though, but let's see. And I film it every time. I mess with it with the laser. I have a laser. Yeah, it's right here. Oh no, it's charging. But this is it's bigger than this. But this is the laser. I mess with it a lot. So, I mean, I mess with the craft, and I guarantee it's a UFO. I guarantee. The video doesn't do it justice, but let's see. Emil F72 asks, do they take kids for 20 and back and erase the memory of the 20 years? Are there people that don't remember the experience? That's the point, Emily. Sorry if that's the point, Emily, to not remember, but it's not perfect. So there are certain things that you will remember, but again, it doesn't even matter at that point, because the question then becomes, can you prove it? Right? That's what it comes down to. Sam Skaden asks, are these creatures why Godzilla is so popular? Maybe. Let's see. D4 asks, do you think Jesus was an alien hybrid? It's too far back, my friend. I don't know. Certainly some type of energetic ascension, but I don't know. Let's talk about says, I think the Earth is like the countryside of the galaxy. That's why we don't see a lot of space traffic. Also, I think that we are the property of some alien species, therefore protected by them. I would say the Venusians, we're being overseen by them. And I agree with you as well. Let's talk about with regards to us being the backyard or the countryside. I think so. Yeah. Let's take a look here. Order 66 says, I believe that being afraid of humans is scarier than anything else. Look at what they're capable of, like what some humans can do to just little babies, ripping them apart with metal tongs. Yeah. Yeah. Sam Skaten says, you remind me of Seth Rogen. Everybody says that. I take that as a compliment. Thank you. Origami Sensei says, there's this guy apparently posting videos and woke up from 2021 in 2027 and is able to post in the current timeline from 2027, and it may be fake, but the guy goes into empty metro supermarket secured places. I'm gonna look into that for sure. I appreciate that. Jay asks, what's good? Jay, if you want to send me something, the email that's pinned at the top there, that's my email for PayPal. That's also my email for if you want to reach out to me, whatever you like. Let's see here. Let's see. Jer says, all I've ever done was share things online, like truth about what's going on, not that political BS, but real issues or like things you talk about in this community. I know for a fact my Instagram's gotten blacklisted. Yeah, they do that. And even had attacks randomly driving or alone in my house or at my job. It does happen. I'm not kidding. Origami says, watch it. It's so weird. If it's fake, then it's so well done. That's the way I view it, right? And I agree. I'll definitely look into that. Let's see. Bo says, oh, no problem. Then he says the Project Blue Horizon caused the troops to get PTSD and affected their health for a long time. Gotcha. D4 says they use children the same way demons do. Right. Yeah. I mean, yes. I say that carefully just because, again, I don't know what certain people's definition of demons are. Like if they're interdimensional entities that are negatively oriented, frequentially, different perceptions, right? Let's see here. Oh, Soulstar, I appreciate that. Let's see. Dreamlink 51 says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how normal is it to remember dreams and places for years with emotions and spatial awareness like their normal memories and have vivid dreams with all senses like awake but better? It depends on the person, my friend. I don't think I could say like for certain what I don't think I could tell you, like say like, oh, hey, Dreamlink, it's a solid 6 or it's a 6 out of 10. Unfortunately, I wish I could help you more. I might need some more context there. Jer says, but it's nothing new because even as a kid, I've always had negative things attach themselves to me. My grandpa and uncle have helped due to the fact that they're shamans. Ah, I see. Okay. Let's see. Ahmad asks, are you going to end soon? I just got here. Ahmad, I might. We're coming on to 2.5 hours. Let's see. Bruce Leroy says, do you think Tesla was an agent or a true savior for humanity with all of his research and inventions? I think, assuming the FBI doc or the CIA documents were not total disinformation, I seriously consider the fact that he might have been Venusian, therefore his intelligence accelerated much quicker than the average person. But at the same time, I think he knew a lot of stuff before he died, to tell you the truth, in terms of like a true savior for humanity and stuff. I think he knew a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's tough. I think there's a lot of things that he did for the betterment of humanity. Now, whether he did things that were not good, he could have been forced into it. I'm not trying to portray him as a bad guy, but I'm not trying to portray him as a good guy either. Again, I'd like to think he was a savior for humanity that had been suppressed. I'd like to think that. Doesn't mean that I'm right though. Let me see. Drew Phillip asks, ever see the picture of the Canadian time traveler? Yeah, I've seen it. Soulstar, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jack Dark says, did you ever see the video of a dive submarine crew where a gray humanoid swam up to the window of the submersible craft, realized they had a camera pointed to that window, then quickly swam off? That's one of the pictures I have. You're talking about, the blue one, the mermaid, like with the hand on the window, and you could see its face? If you're talking about that, then yeah. It might have been trying to make communication, and it might have made a mistake thinking that it was a group of humans or aliens that it was expecting. I'm not even kidding. Let me see. Sorry, guys. E asks, "Do you feel that humanity's at a loss with all these agendas and bull?" There's a lot of distractions. I don't know about a loss, but distractions. I have no evidence to back this up, guys, but there's something telling me we're not the dumbest species out there. We're not the smartest, but we're not the dumbest. I wouldn't even say we're in the middle. We're probably on the lower end just because of how much we kill each other in the big picture of things. But hold on, hold on. Yeah, Soul Star, the one with the giant walking with the ropes and stuff. Apparently, that's legit. That's the one I'm talking about. Have I seen Iron Sky? No, I don't think I have. Um, D4 says, "What's the connection between artists and aliens?" Depends on what time period. Some aliens have spoken telepathically through artists to draw certain things that then coincidentally became famous paintings throughout the ages. Maybe they telepathically influenced other humans to make it seem like it was a beautiful, a great thing or whatever, so that it would stay popular throughout the ages. Let's see here. Uh, Order 66, what games do you play? I play all kinds of games, my friend. I'm waiting for my capture card to come in because then I'll start doing for fun on my days off of the show with the episodes. I'll do like a gaming stream for fun or whatever. Let me see. Soulstar asks what dimension. Oh, hey, what's going on? Soulstar asks what dimensions are people on here able to access? I'm in a group of 5 to 10D dimensional entities, and we love watching this show. Oh, thank you. I don't know in terms of like the audience what they can access, what their personal abilities are. Um, Bo Stevens says, "I read we once experienced 5 resets." Well, Bo, if you read the Hindu scriptures, we've experienced 22 resets. So I know what you're saying, my friend. Okay, hold. Here we go. Oh, Bruce Leroy, no problem, my friend. No problem at all. Let's see here. Kovush asks, "Can you send us the footage?" I imagine because I'm back. I'm behind in the chat. I imagine you're asking about the giant footage. I might be able to. I have to see if I can clip it. Bruce Leroy says the Hall of Records is physical. All of humanity has the records programmed into DNA called the Akashic Records. Nothing new under the sun. I agree with that with regards to that. Let's see here. Impressive says they went into the tomb of Osiris, but they fudged everything, I think. Oh, absolutely. Fudged as in covered up? Oh, sure. Of course. Let's Talk About says, "I think the human race is one of the worst out there. Just imagine if everything goes public and we use high tech. We would kill, destroy, colonize planets and galaxies. That's why aliens keep us in check." You're damn right, in my opinion. I mean, look at what we do to our own planet in terms of political war, militaristic warfare. Okay, let's see. E asks, "Dave, have you seen the Iron Sky?" I would need to know what that looks like. I don't think I know it by that definition. Let's see. Mecha Spirit asks, "Have you heard of the Narthex Montagono portal light wasp theory?" The Narthex Montagono portal light wasp theory. Hold on a second. Hold on. I want the wasp theory. Just give me 1 second, guys, because I'm the wasp theory. I'm just looking it up quickly. I just want to see and then I'll get to everybody's questions. Yeah, and yes. Yeah, I'm working on some episodes coming up for that soon. So I can't guarantee how soon, but um, let's see. Bong Radio Records says if you got someone to give you money and then give them rotten possum meat, they'd still be guilty and you'd have their money. Yes, well, that's called screwing someone over. Yeah, exactly. Timothy says, love sushi. I always get a rainbow roll. Oh, yeah, because I'm behind in the chat. So this is when I mentioned sushi. Kovish says, is it me or is Zed still reading comments way up? Indeed, I am. Order 66 says, now I need some sushi. Great. Yeah, man, I know. It's 9:30 at night here. If I could still order it after this, I might. Let me see. Bailey says, the only way I know how to describe the feeling of seeing an alien in real life is surreal. I believe that. Let's see. Jack says, I hear most alien species are much taller than us, literally giants, like the Bible says about the old days. The ones I personally saw were at least 8 to 9 feet tall. You guys want to know something interesting? There's certain Eastern European countries where when you get your passport registered, you can go up to like 11 feet. You think that's a fluke? That's the cover for some of the Nordics, if you will. Let's see here. Bruce Leroy says, my experience has been interdimensional beings give an abduction experience described the same way aliens would do to us. In my opinion, aliens are dimensional beings just like us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Some more than others, but yes. Patrick says, have you seen the TR3B? Patrick, my friend, I'm not trying to be a salesman, but if you got to check out Patreon, we got some interesting content, interesting people. Read between the lines there, guys. People that, yeah, I don't want to say too much because I want those people to still stay on. People that have knowledge, let's put it this way. I got to watch my words. I really want to say it, but let's see. Jason says, oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, Jason. Thank you. 100p says, are you planning anything special for Tuesday? In what sense, my friend? What do you mean? Trey Dros asks, what's beyond the ice walls? Are we assuming this is flat Earth? Is that the thing? D4 says, did you see the video where that guy shines a green laser at a UFO and the UFO starts to flash and literally makes an effort to dodge it? Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Alada says, do you ever think when you see the water spout in the ocean or in the water and a cloud overhead that it might be a craft taking the oxygen and the H2O for refueling? Not for refueling, but for studying. Possibly, yeah. I've seen craft I've seen pictures of alleged craft taking energy from the sun. But that could be human craft too, though, by the way. Keep that in mind. There's different forms of propulsion, by the way, guys. It's not just one anti-gravity. There's tons of different forms of propulsion using piezoelectricity, red mercury. There's tons of them. Soulstar says, we are all alien, by the way. Carbon dating of human and ape reveals that around 200,000 years ago, we were modified. Ape DNA has 48 chromosomes. We have 46. Darwin theory's totally fucked now. Yeah, like, okay. I agree with you, Soulstar. And I think overall, the evolution of humanity was far too fast and coincidental to be natural. But I have a few theories on that. Let's see here. Brandon, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Because Brandon says he has the exact same feeling and it's trippy. Red BMC 15 says, talk about the ice walls or what's happening in the poles amongst all the ice, please and thank you. There's a lot going on in Antarctica. Whether it's underground bases, prison areas for certain aliens, experimental labs. You're talking a massive piece of land they can do everything and anything there. Also, apparatuses to keep the giant creatures underground, which is, in case you were not here earlier in the stream, if you see Russia, what's going on there, why are Russian troops suddenly going to the Arctic? It's for that. It's to keep a lot of these larger creatures down there, and they don't have an issue keeping them down there. It's just, it's like, I'm not joking. It's like playing whack-a-mole. It's like, oh shit, there's one here, boom, there's another one there. They don't always kill them, but they try to send the signal first, as in get back down where you belong. And then in other cases, I'm not even joking, it's okay, you got to go. And the reason is because they're conscious beings. They can think for themselves. They're not exactly like Godzilla, like where it's like, they just come and go, whatever. They can, I don't know if they can think as consciously or intellectually as us, but they're self-aware. Let's see. Patrick asks, what do you think will happen in July? You mean the 180-day disclosure? I think it'll get pushed back again. And I really love your Insta post. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Damn, the chat jumped, but I don't think I'm that far back this time. I really don't. Let's hope I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. Perfect. Soulstar says humans also have the TBR1 protein in our brains, which gives us access to the frontal cortex, which means more intelligence and a knowingness. We were 100% modified many moons ago. Very interesting. Yeah. Let's see here. Bong Radio Record says Wild Stallions. Not sure. Hydro Host says split perception of conscience, reality that is very real from the complex intensity of the journey to the core confidence. It is as if I left family for war, screams even as I motion to darkness. I'm not sure if that's from a song, my friend, or where that's from. Uh, Drew asks any recent info on the Gulf of Aden vortex, something to do with the Middle East Stargate. Lots of countries' navies occupy that Gulf because of piracy. I think there's bases there. I think there's some electromagnetic anomaly that they say is an anomaly that they really do know what it is. Gulf of Aden vortex. Yeah, interesting. Let's see here. Soulstar says, any other higher dimensional souls on here, drop me a message. Zeralath says, the experts think this is the sixth extinction event. Yeah, look, I guarantee there's been an extinction event, and I'm a nobody, so I'm sure there has been. The question is how many, what interfered with it, what caused it, all that kind of jazz, right? Let's see here. I don't think it's fair that we have to suffer for what our leader. Let's see. E says, but I don't think it's fair that we have to suffer for our leader, for what our leader chooses for us. Sorry, the thing, they put us in back-to-back loss disruptions in programming, and a lot of us just want to live in light. Yeah. A lot of people don't even know what light is. Let's talk about says you should do 4 to 5 hour live stream once or twice a month, and it's fine if you eat, drink, take a break, bathroom. It'd be very cool because everyone would be able to talk to you. When my capture card comes in, I want to do that. Honestly, I might even do that tomorrow. I love doing that, just sitting back and chilling, and then whoever pops in, pops out, whatever. Let's see. Order 66 says, can you do Akashic Records readings for somebody's past? I need it. I personally, I can't. I know people that claim they can. I can try and put you in touch with them if you email me, but I cannot do that. Let's see here. Or you can access on your own, like Bruce says. Jerry says, hey, Dave, what do you know, if anything, about the Sun Simulator? It's not bad. It's complicated. It's not bad. It's not good. There's a lot of different agendas at play. It depends on where you would fall into that, or what perception, or what you're. You know what, folks? I just want to say a lot of this has to do with personal belief systems. A lot of it has to do with political ideology. Believe it or not, people think human politics is nothing compared to aliens. Absolutely, but it's just the alien side of it is just politics on a galactic scale. And when it comes to certain mechanisms or technologies doing things like blocking out the sun or that kind of stuff, it comes down to where your ideas fall. And if your ideas fall in a certain area, then, by then it'll be like, okay, you tend to align with, the grays, or you tend to align with this or that. And then from there, that's how you deem if things like, the sun blocker or the sun simulator are good or not. It's much bigger than the technology or the science that we currently understand publicly. It's bigger than that. Let's see here. Jer says, thank you. Oh, no problem. No problem, Jer. 9 bars. Hey, what's going on? E says, Iron Sky is a movie that talks about a lot of the things you talk about, and the Vril. It's on Netflix, and it has the crafts with the tentacles on it that show the Dark Fleet. I would say, E, that's definitely a form of predictive programming, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Let's see here. Juan Angel says it's DMT. E says, my boyfriend's subscribing now. Oh, tell him I say thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Sam Skaten says, what do you think about the music industry pushing agendas to people? My answer to that, one of the most basic forms of predictive programming. One of the most basic ones. Everybody likes music, and even if they don't, you're gonna hear a catchy song at some point in your life, without a shadow of a doubt. That's in my mind, humbly, that's a no-brainer. Let me see. Hydro Ho says, I want to know what's out the window or how to keep it safe at least. Depends what you're going through, Hydro. Bad Dog says, are basketball players related to aliens or have alien DNA? Oh, you're asking because they're tall? I mean, uh, not not per se. I mean, if you're talking about again, different parts of the world have had different aliens come over the course of history. So depends how far back you want to go when you talk about DNA. Zaralath asks, what do you think is the biggest ship in the secret space program? There's one that is allegedly 3 times the size of Earth that NASA has pictures of, that at least that I know about. Let me see. But those type of craft cannot come into any planet's orbit. It uses the same technology as a planet. It has a different way of operating. It has an extremely powerful weapon system, all that kind of stuff. You're talking about some super advanced stuff. These are the ships where some of the Venusians live on because their planet Venus was destroyed so long ago, and they don't want us to make the same mistake. It's not just Venusians though. Let's see. Jungle Bird says, do you smoke hash? No, I don't. Never have. Let's see. Rivera says, is real life like Star Wars and Guardians of the Galaxy as far as how the world is outside of Earth? I might get a lot of slack for this, for saying, but yeah, I'd say so. And if you asked the me of 6 months ago, I'd say no, honestly, to tell you the truth. Let's see. Fatty Yuka says, is it true that the Tyrannosaurus Rex matches the exact description of an alien? Certain species, limited species, but certain amount. Let's see. Christians allegedly, by the way, the dinosaurs were biological weapons used by aliens. Kristen Sixler says, not sure if this is YouTube doing this or my phone malfunctioning, as it says. It might be your app or it might be YouTube. I'm not sure, my friend. Let's see here. Christian Soria, I'm not sure what you're referring to, which means that it's probably a problem on your end, my friend. Joshua asks, what is the technology Looking Glass and how is it related to the Great Reset? I don't know how it's related to the Great... Well, so Project Looking Glass was allegedly this device that could see if you pointed the device at a certain area, it could basically tell. You can use like a knob to like fast forward or rewind everything that's happened there in that particular place that it's pointed at. How it could be used for the Great Reset, I mean, it could be used for a lot of different reasons and in a lot of different ways to predict the future or to try to, because things could change with timeline intermergence and what have you. So it all depends. Let's see. Hold on. Cindy says, hi, Dave from Montreal. Hey, Cindy, what's going on? Let's see here. So in terms of Project Looking Glass being related to the Great Reset, I don't know enough about that. It's hard in terms of the Great Reset. It depends on what you're referring to specifically, my friend. Let's see. Let's talk about says, what do you think about something in our DNA that we can activate to get abilities? That's what I was referring to earlier in this live stream when I was talking about the way to access things. We might be so suppressed that we might need technology to reactivate it. Yeah, but I think or something in our own DNA that we can activate to get abilities. I think it's legit, but I mean, it's been suppressed like there's no tomorrow. Not just by the elites. I'm talking like thousands, if not millions of years back as well. Let's see here. Soulstar says, can I schedule a call with you? All I can send me a Soulstar, yeah, please send me an email, my friend. I don't have the time. My phone's about to die. I don't have the time to add you right now. I apologize, but please send me an email. Let's see here. 9 Bars says politics. Jerry Sherlock said, yeah, politics is politics is stupid, but unfortunately important. Jerry says, I think they're hiding Nibiru. Oh, I agree. Impressive says, schlonking back a huge dab of live resin and normal butter for you. I appreciate that. Stephanie says, and the frontotemporal dementia is attacking the consciousness. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about says, you should read the leak script of all the deleted scenes of Prometheus and Alien Covenant about the black goo and Jesus being taken by aliens, etc. The script is pretty mind-blowing. I have looked into it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Which is why I think they scrapped some of that. It was too... there's sometimes a point when it's too accurate in its disclosure apparatus. Um, Let me see. Sam Skaten asks, "Do you think drugs like acid can change the way you think?" Yes, yes. I'm not a science. I don't want to say for certain. I mean, I know some people that have taken it. They've actually come out of the experience a better person. I know some people that have taken it and they'll say never again. I know some people that have taken it and they're like, yeah, I'll do it again, sure. And then I know others that came out completely changed for the rest of their lives. I've known them for 10, 15 years and they're still just off. Um, I'm not trying to deter people from psychedelics, but let's see. Oh, Soulstar, thank you. I can't. I'll copy the link on my clipboard, but let's see here. Christian Sixler, yeah, I think you're caught up too. Stephanie says the vector equilibrium changes size, but the center stays. Let's see here. Being called Bruce. Yeah, that's the idea of the vector equilibrium, by the way. Bruce Leroy says, have you heard of the planets being called wandering stars and that they are the suns and moons of different dimensions within our planetary system and it's not planets in outer space? Hold on. Ooh, sorry. I just drew a blank. Let me reread that. Being called wandering stars and that they are the suns and moons of different dimensions. Oh, my friend, it's so the possibilities are endless, and not to sound corny, but it's true. It's I'm not kidding. I don't know enough about that to comment. I just wouldn't rule it out. Let's see here. Alada Black God says those big ships are called the mother planes with 1,500 Todd ships on them ready to attack. Yep, yep. Like that guy Travis Walton who was abducted and said he saw a bunch of UFOs while those alien like or human looking aliens dragged him after he left that small room of gray aliens. And he still looks spooked to this day. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but what's interesting is that it could have been in an deep underground military base where he saw those craft before he blacked out again, or it could have been on those motherships. Let's see here. Let's talk about says, what do you think about all the politicians talking about the Great Reset? Interesting question, and I appreciate that because I've been thinking about that myself. I don't know how far up it stretches, but what I do know is this: just like with the mainstream media, just the same way that the news anchors on NBC and CNN repeat the same freaking lines, they're given the same lines. I think it's the same idea. The politicians, Justin Trudeau, the prime minister of my country, the leaders of others, it's the same idea. I would say so. Soulstar asks, are you investing in XRP crypto to ensure your future secure? I got some money in crypto, but nothing major. Let me see. Sino Grid asks, do you think the Bible was manipulated by man for maybe control? Oh, yes. No disrespect to those that believe in the Bible strongly, but I mean, if we look at just the most popular version, at least within the West, and I think within Europe too, is the King James. I think around the world is the King James version. If we're talking about the Christian Bible, remember, first off, we don't know our history. Secondly, it's been edited by humans. Thirdly, there's been alien influence. So the amount of disinformation and deception is rampant. And I'm not saying that's the entire Bible. Please don't think I'm saying that. All I'm saying is that you got to be vigilant. That I know that might be a bit of a vague answer, but let's see here. Oh, 1 second, guys. Let's talk about says tomorrow you will do a 4 to 5 hour live stream. I'd like to, if I could just chill and we could just watch videos and all that stuff. Hold on. Let me see. Bailey asks, what about theta waves or theta waves? Bailey, I'll get back to you on that. I know I'm researching them now. I don't want to provide a conclusion when I'm not finished. Or, well, you're never really done your research, but you never really completed, but you know what I mean. Jay asks, what's your take on the great solar flash? I got to get back to Jay. I haven't had enough time to think about that. Zaralath asks, where did we get the raw material for that? For what? Let's see here. Let's talk about says there's also black goo history in the game Death Stranding. Have you heard of it? Yes. Oh, video games, music, predictive programming like crazy. I'm not saying to not play video games. Video games are awesome and fun, but you know what I mean. They put it in things that, you would personally like and find to be entertaining. Impressive says psychedelics are one of the only few ways to make new neurological pathways other than naturally, but I guess I can argue mushrooms and DMT are natural. So, impressive. Very, very good point, my friend. Let's see here. Oh, by the way, the black goo thing, let's talk about that. The black goo thing is in a lot of stuff, like lots. Um, not just video games. Zerolat says before telescopes, all astronomers called planets wandering stars. Yeah, yep. Let me see. Let's talk about says I think we have soldiers like the Doom guy and the tall super soldiers from Halo games. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Arb, I seriously do. Arb says you should get an ultrasonic humidifier for the dry air. You won't get thirsty. I should. Man, thank you. That's a good idea. Let's see here. Bruce asks, have you had visions of the future through vivid or lucid dreams and your experience on astral travel? There was one vision I had. I saw the entire earth on fire, literal fire, but I don't know if that's, that could have just been a dream. My experience on astral travel, I will admit, I don't spend much time focusing on it. The most I've gone is I've been lifted out of my body from my recollection and I've dropped right back in. Nothing special. There are many of you in this chat right now that have done much more than me. Let's see here. And lately, in the past 6 to 8 months, also I haven't focused on it as much just because of I love doing the show, so that's why. Let's see here. Fatty Uka says, my father recalls a time when he was young. He was in Kuwait and he was really young. He recalls everything around the car turned a bright white light similar to many stories, but he says the light lasted for a second and then it was back to normal. It could have been a craft that was about to pick him up, but then it didn't. I'm not going to lie. If assuming this is an accurate recollection of your father, which I take your word for, and where was this again? Hold on. In Kuwait, sounds about right. Most of those things happen in countries outside of the West. Yeah. Let me see. Cindy says, I'll get with you, Dave. Also about theta and thorium. Sorry, Cindy, not sure what you mean, but I think I do. Hold on. Bong Radio Record says God's an angry old man that whoop you. Alicia says I definitely want the link to that Biden video. Oh, the fake Biden one, or I mean the where his hand kind of went over the camera thing. Let's talk about says man, I wish I could have access to the Vatican library. Imagine the knowledge in there. Oh, not just the library. I want to know what's below that too. Let's see. Again, folks, it's unfortunate, but we don't know what we don't know. You know what I mean? Patrick says, have you seen the photo of a tree on Mars, a dried one? It's really interesting. If you haven't seen it, should I email it to you? Please email it to me. Yeah, please. I have not seen it. Let's see here. FPV is better. Hydro Host says FPV is better than video games. Cool. Arb says, why do you think the Church of Satan is against Mary Jane? Arb, I would need specifics, my friend. I don't know enough about that. Tom says, did LSD and shrooms recreationally very enjoyable and thought-provoking? I've known people to have very bad experiences. If you are scared, don't do it. That's what I've heard. Yeah. Zeralath, the raw material for the super ships. That could come from other dimensions, from other planets. There's so many. Jacques Vallée spoke about that on Joe Rogan. It's at the point. Let's put it this way: the material on some of the UFO, not on the motherships, but the material obtained just from the small UFO craft, like the ones that are 50 to 100, feet in diameter. Let's put it this way: to try to recreate some of that, it would cost, give or take, I'm not joking, about $1 trillion to at the most molecular isotopic level to even try to recreate that. Let's put it that way. Let's hold on a second. Let's talk about says, have you seen all the hundreds of warships that China built in the recent years? Satellite images show such massive boats that at first it looks like an island. Maybe. Oh, you mean like the warships? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen. Yes, yes. They're the warships that the CCP continues to deny. Right? That's what they call their version. They call it the little blue men. They say we don't know what you're talking about, even though like it's just blatantly right there. Um, a Hydro host said, "I had a dream of a girl I knew. She is calling for me. I can't reach her. She's on another platform, another dimension. You mean? Interesting." Uh, Alada says, "Do you have a pay attention?" Pay attention to Stephen Quayle and the Giants and UFOs and Aliens. George Newry was with a guy that went to the middle of the earth, Agartha, and says it's peaceful. I heard about that. Have I paid attention to this? A little bit. Sorry, very much. What I mean, a little. What do I mean, a little bit? Very much so. Yeah, very much so. Uh, um, I believe it's peaceful. I don't think it's violent. I don't think that you could live or last for that long. You know, in the center of a planet or in or around the inner areas of a planet if it was not peaceful. Let's see here. Timothy says, "Why is the number 8 being used in movies? New Godzilla movie. Usually the first number viewers see." That is interesting. I've wondered that myself. I It has to do with an energetic form of predictive programming allegedly that direct energy weapons could use. Um, let's talk about says here in Alaska there's a weird small island. Some just vanished out of nowhere. Sometimes up here, I love where I live. I also went around HARP. Weird things happen like headaches and nausea. I fully believe you. Let's talk about. I fully believe you. Um, Timothy says that, oh, no problem, Timothy. I wish I could answer a bit more, but Fatiuka says, one time I saw a very small UFO above my head. It wasn't following me, just flying by. But the thing is that it had no lights at all. I could only see it because the street lights. Could that have been a gray? Oh, it depends more so on the shape, Fatty, my friend. It depends on the shape more than anything. Um, anyways, everybody, I'm caught up with everything in the chat. We're coming on to 3 hours. Also, if you include the last 2 streams that I tried to do, that didn't end up working out well for some reason. But oh, it Fatty. It was saucer shaped. It. Sorry, I should have been more specific. It depends on what kind of saucer. But if it's saucer shaped, it could have been. It could have. It could have been Palladian. It could have been gray. Usually, it's not Palladians though. It could have been military. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I would need specifics of that sauce. Oh, like circular. Yeah, but like where is it rugged edges? Did it look like there was like a window, like some type of way to see through? Like there's different types of discs, but I'd bank on the fact that it was a gray. Let's talk about says I often go hiking in the Alaska Triangle. There's some white fog sometimes. Dude, you go hiking in the Alaska Triangle? Holy crap. I'm not even kidding. That's insane. Like I heard people go missing constantly. Let's see here. Let's see. Hold on. Let's talk about Ask. So we see you tomorrow for 4 to 5 hours. No promises, but I hope so. Fatty Urka says, oh, very round, no windows. Probably a gray, I'd say. Riel says Akashic Records, also called Halls of Amenti. Scott says, thank you, Dave. No, Scott, thank you, brother. Riel says, have you analyzed the scientific evidence to suggest the masks are effective at reducing spread of COVID, assuming COVID is real for the sake of YouTube? I appreciate the way you worded that, Riel. I have, but I'm not. Here's the thing with that. With COVID, I'm waiting till it all blows over. So I can then look at that. Oh, no worries about being shy tonight, my friend. Alada says the gases will kill you in the inner part of the planet. Possibly. Let's talk about, so people do go missing in there, but do you go in deep into the Alaska Triangle? That's what I'm curious about. And if you don't, trust me, I'm not trying to like see like, oh, you're just the guy that goes on the edge of it. No. It's cool that you're even stepping foot in it. I'll tell you right now. Let me see. Ali Gendaris J says, what's your opinion on the first space hotel being built and open for business in 2027? It looks like the space station in Elysium, and the weird part is some SSP soldiers predicted it. Well, they predicted it because the interemergence of the timeline happened with the 20 and back program. I want to see if it gets built in 2027. I want to see, because agendas change, by the way, even for aliens, agendas change. Um, because the aliens will tell obviously humans what to do, how to do it. Apparently, we're not allowed to travel. Anyways, Bob Thorson says, "What would a gold flattened egg shape with a big window in front be?" Gold flattened egg shaped with a big window in front. Um, Hold on. Fatty Uka says, "Have you heard about the Aurora Triangle in Ontario?" Oh, yeah, yeah, I know people that saw it themselves. Like because I live in Ontario. Um, the military usually flies their stuff here because it's easier to keep things quiet generally. Even if it goes on social media, if you say like, "Oh, this or that happened in Canada," people it does go viral. Don't kid yourself. But it's not like if you saw it in New York City or something. At least relative to North America and the West. So hold on, Bob Thorson, a gold flattened egg shape with a big window in front. I'm trying to visualize a gold. Okay. That's usually the tall, the Nordics, you or the Giants, if you will. Usually, could be wrong though. Patrick Boy, I'll definitely check it out. I appreciate that. Fatty Yuka says it has a very high sightings for UFOs. Absolutely, absolutely. The disc shape is the traditional one. Let's see here. Alada says the energy 8 number is a number of finances. Glynis McCants put a 8 in your podcast and its energy brings money. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Robert asks, we have that in Ontario? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Um, let's talk about says, I go as deep as I can 2 in one day. I try to avoid at all costs to have to camp there. Okay, smart. Do you get headaches? Anything happen to you there? Um, Aside from the white fog and stuff? Let me see. Bong Radio Record says Bill and Ted's phone booth, incubation cells. Huh. Robert asks, where in Ontario? I'm from Windsor. You'll find Windsor. Shit. Uh, it's mainly Oshawa. It's mainly places like that, bro. More suburban land kind of thing. Um, let's see. The ones that come close to the city, like North York, Toronto area, they're not. They don't. I mean, the ones that come above the city, they don't come close. Let's see here. Let's talk about every time I go there, he's talking about the Alaska Triangle. You can feel something is different, not scary or creepy, but different. It's hard to explain. Interesting. Epoch Times reported rioters just attacked the National Guard. Holy shit. Zerolus says, I've heard the number 8 in China is like the number 7 in the West. I see. Fadiuka, Robert, it's a triangle of areas. I think it's between Aurora, Bradford, and Hamilton. Yes, yeah. Bradford. That's what I was looking for. Hamilton too, but Bradford. I was gonna say Milton, but then I'm like, what am I saying? Fadiuka, yes, yeah. Let's see. Alada says, and the guy from Agartha said there are plenty of portals within the earth down in Agartha. Yes. I think people call it the Bradford Triangle as well. Yeah, they do. Robert says, okay, Robert, if you need help, just send me an email. I got pictures. Bruce says, the forest fires that didn't burn the trees recently, have you seen footage? The trees failed to burn down, but houses were decimated. I didn't. Anyways, guys, I'm super hungry. I gotta drink some tea, get my throat back to normal. We're coming on to 3 hours. I want to thank all of you. Holy crap, it's 10 o'clock at night. Wow. I know some of you are in different time zones, but here it's 10 o'clock in the evening. So I want to thank all of you so much for coming out. In the Alaska Triangle, no headaches, but there's an area with no noise, no birds, no singing, no wind, nothing but some type of voice. Apparently, there's an access to some underground thing through the trees there. Apparently, some of the trees are fake, but they're legitimately like you can access them. They're like I'm not kidding, like entryways into the underground world. Some type of voices. Interesting. It seems to be the case wherever there's some type of frequency mind control kind of thing. Is it kind of like, let's talk about, is it kind of like in Alien Covenant when they go on the planet and they're like, beautiful environment and forest, but there's no animals, there's nothing, it's just dead quiet? Is it like that? Let's see here. Oh, pasta. Yeah, I'm gonna have pasta. Oh, it's 9 oh, Mario, is it 9 PM or AM in Jamaica? Oh, Fatty Uka, no problem at all. Arb says Humpty gauge and ultrasonic mist humidifier and maybe a Himalayan salt too. Ah, okay. Um, oh, Bruce, yeah, no problem at all, no problem at all. Oh, Fatty, you're in Ontario too? Oh, cool. Um, when this stuff is over, we'll meet up. We'll go for a bite to eat. Let's see here. Arb says humidity. Okay. Let's talk about exactly like that. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. That's not natural, man, in my opinion. To hear silence like that, that's not natural. Um, oh, it's 9 PM and oh, cool, cool. Uh, let's talk about says exactly like an alien covenant when they land on that planet with no noise, nothing. Gotcha. 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 All right, everyone. Hopefully I answered everyone's questions to your liking. I'm calling it a night. Gonna eat, go to sleep, and that's it. I might do a live stream tomorrow. I might do a news episode tomorrow, but just to let everybody know, Mondays are usually my days off now. So, Riel, brother, please message me on Telegram or text me. Let me see. All right, Bong Radio Records. You can create silence through meditation. Yes, but we're we're referencing a different type of silence, if you will, one that's very, I don't know, it's hard to explain. We'll talk more Bong Radio Records. If you want, email me, we'll chat more. Anyways, live stream tomorrow, maybe. I gotta see on my energy. If I gotta take the day to just chill, then that's what I'm gonna do. I don't think I took a day off in like 2 weeks, so yeah. Anyways, cheers everybody, we'll talk. Thank you so much again.